Yeah, big talking brewski. Marissa Smith is who you see. Water cooler combo in here. Crack a cold one, we're on the air. Big talking brewski. Marissa Smith is who you see. Water cooler combo in here. Crack a cold one, we're on the air. Kicking back, having a few beers, we're chatting. Pull up your chair, we're all relaxing. Any subject, we never dismiss. Big talking brewskis with Marissa Smith. Comedy, sex, relationships, war. Any subject, we got it in store. Big talking brewskis is coming in live. Crack when open, Marissa has arrived. Big talking brewskis with Marissa Smith.
Hey guys, happy Friday. This is Big Talking Brewskis. I'm Marissa Smith. As always, I've got Rodney Daniels with me.
What's up, guys? Happy Friday.
We've got Jonathan Mastrojohn with us.
Hello, everyone.
And we've got Judah Tobias.
Shabbat shalom.
So, Rodney, how was your week?
My week was good. You know, we had the Fashionably Funny last Friday.
Yes,
after
we
the
did.
show.
We did.
And it was a great show, but I got hashtag Me Too.
Who me too you?
This guy, there was a gay couple in the front row, and I was like, like halfway through the show, and I go to the back and get like a drink or whatever, and one of the guys is like coming from the bathroom. And he's like, oh, my God, you're just so fucking funny. And then you're just so sexy. And then he just grabs my junk.
Damn.
Just like right this like full on like, yeah. And I was like, whoa. Like,
Now, I have a question. Is that acceptable?
no, I mean, no, it's not acceptable. Just because I'm gay and I like it doesn't mean that like you should at least ask first before you start, grabbing junk.
That's happened to me as well.
Really?
Yeah.
Because, like, I'll say that, like, gay guys grab my boobs all the time without asking.
Damn.
See, and it's not acceptable. Just because we're homosexual doesn't mean we should be grabbing everything.
I mean, you touch my boobs all the time.
This is true, and I don't ever really. I don't
You
really
never
ask.
ask.
I don't ask. I mean, but we know each other.
That makes it okay.
Exactly. I'm not some random grabbing your boobs.
This is true. You're not a random
Right.
grabbing my boobs.
A friend of mine actually works in an old age home. She's an older woman, and she was telling me that there's this patient who walks the halls all day, every day, just pinching people's crotches.
Oh, really?
Patients, doctors, nurses, doesn't matter. So,
Yeah.
Is it a male patient or a female?
female patient.
Oh, that's surprising. Because, like, my mom used to work in a nursing home, and there was this, like, one patient that they had, and his name was actually Chester, so he was actually
He's a Chester.
literally a Chester. And, like, he would go, and in his, like, wheelchair, he'd, like, walk behind people and just, like, pinch him on the butt. And then, like, you'd be like, oh, stop, Chester. He'd, like, and, like, he'd just, like, laugh about it. But, like, he was so old that, like, that I'm sure that at that time that he thought that was okay.
Well,
but
is there an age? I feel like maybe when you're a certain age, it is okay. No?
no.
Even if it's
Really?
like above 85 or 90?
I mean, right? Because then I
I
feel
think
like
they don't know what they're doing is wrong, but I don't think what they're doing is okay.
I know some who know it's wrong, and I think they know they're going to die soon, and they're ready to
Just
go
like
out
whatever.
in a
Fuck
blaze.
it.
Yeah,
go on a
exactly.
blaze of glory.
It's like I'm
Exactly.
gonna have a heart attack pinching a booty.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's because old folks' homes are like a lot of cases of like STIs.
That's disgusting.
Yeah, gonorrhea and
Yep.
syphilis and stuff because they feel like, fuck it.
I've heard that.
I'm 85. Why should I use a condom?
No.
Yeah.
I'm not hungry anymore. I'm not quite sure why.
But I also feel like they were like probably like raw dogging it like before it was like out of favor to be raw dogging. I think that's why. Like, I think they all got their like STIs in like the 60s
And
and
the and they
70s.
just had it the whole time.
And they just had it the whole time, and they're just transferring
I've been
shit
living
back
with
and
this
forth.
syphilis for 25 years.
And, it's they think vaccines are a joke. So we've got Lee Paul with us.
Hey, sorry I'm late.
Oh, it's okay.
I love when I come in on syphilis. That's always good.
Syphilis.
Yeah.
So now, Jonathan, how was your week?
It was pretty good. Yeah, didn't get a lot of sleep, but got a lot of work done. So
That's good.
yeah, it went by real fast.
Yeah, I mean, busy's better than bored.
Yeah.
Judah, how was your week?
My week was beautiful. I actually didn't get much sleep either. Started building a deck in my backyard, which is great.
That's an
Oh, nice. That
Tense.
sounds like a big undertaking.
It's not a terribly big undertaking, but
I like how big is his deck?
the backyard's like 30 feet by 20 feet, so about half of the backyard. So that's
Okay.
15
So it's
by
like
10.
Rodney's really into carpentry. that's one of his sexual role playing that he does.
Shirtless man using hammers.
He puts on a flannel shirt, breaks out like a saw and a hammer, gets
He
really
likes his
into
wood.
it.
I don't.
He's
Yeah.
like, ooh, boo, you better
yeah.
put on that tool belt.
Right?
So, Lee, how was your week?
Good. I just got back from Florida. I was taking care of my old man. Had to get him out of a nursing home and put him into assisted living.
Okay.
So, always fun to deal with, old people, diapers, and dementia. That's always a joyful thing. But no, he's doing better. It just sucks. It's like you go in there and it's like you don't think about getting. I don't mind getting older personally. It just sucks watching everybody else around you, go down that rabbit hole, of degradation, and but he's in a new place. He's adjusted. He's got his own room, it's like, we take a lot of shit for granted. Like, oh, wow, I can wipe my own ass. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Speak
Like,
for yourself.
yeah. Right. Well, before I got sober, I needed help to wipe my own ass. But anyway, that's another story. No, but it's just like, it's so much stuff. It's just the de-evolution, really going back to like being a baby.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
gotta have,
Yeah.
you gotta be taken care of, like all these things. And the worst part about my father's he doesn't really have bad dementia, Alzheimer's. He's a little, some cognitive issues, but he's pretty lucid. And he just physically, his body's just fucked, just like broke down. And he can't walk. He's not ambulatory. So it's just like, and that look in his eyes, like, I want to do these things.
Oh, man.
I want to do these things, and I hate, this is embarrassing. And I'm like, listen, we all need help, sometimes. I mean, and he's still fighting, doing physical therapy. Like, he's convinced he's going to be walking again and driving. And you can't shit on people's dreams when they're there. You got to be like, yeah, sure, because the reality is not. He ain't fucking driving again. That's not happening. But it's just so weird going from regular existence of being ambulatory, taking care of yourself, doing all these things, and to totally being dependent upon other people. So
Did he have a stroke or something?
he
or-
had he had me as a kid, so that probably
That at least
contributed.
knocked off 20
Yeah,
years.
right. He has a CIDP, and the best way I can explain it is it's a cousin of MS. So he has basically a degeneration of a nerve degeneration, and it started in his right leg and went down to his foot. And basically, it spreads to different parts of the body, and there's no cure. It's not fatal. It'll
Yeah.
just debilitate you.
Yeah.
You just can't walk. You can't move.
Yeah.
You don't have use of those things. So,
And
my
that can hit you at any age because I actually was dating my boyfriend from high school ended up getting that at like 27, 28.
Right.
And so like slowly like he's just been like losing control of his
you
body.
still stay in touch with him?
Probably not as much as I should, but here and there.
Yeah, my mom has multiple sclerosis.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah,
she got diagnosed when she was like 32 or somewhere. in
and
there,
so,
like,
and
it's just,
and was it early enough to where they can get on meds and therapies and stuff that they could slow down the
'cause
process?
Now she's I think like 62.
Okay.
And she still walks. Like,
Oh, that's great.
She's still able to walk. She still is able to use like her limbs and stuff.
That's great. But that's because your mother actually was an advocate for her own health. Like my father, just old school Italian, working class. Like, oh, I have a pain, I'll just grin my teeth and bear it
Suck
down.
it up.
I'll suck it up. I don't need to go to the hospital. You know what I mean? And that's
Yeah.
how it is. It's like
Yeah.
he just abused his body. And basically, his body just said one day, "Hey, man, you fucked up. You should have taken care of us."
Listen
And-
to me, motherfucker.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's tough.
Exactly. But it's good to be back in New York, getting back into the routine. I mean, just little things.
so you moved him back up here?
No. Well, me, I'm just saying I was in Florida for 8 days. Like when
Oh,
you go,
okay.
when I leave New York and I go anywhere outside New York City, like a day is like a week.
It
So
is.
if I'm gone 8 days, it's like I've been gone 2 months,
Yeah.
basically, and like because the time goes by slow, with everything. But
Especially in Florida.
and
Yeah,
yeah,
everything's still there.
and
There's no
everybody
pulse.
everybody always says like, oh, it's nice, you can enjoy the weather. I'm like, what part of me taking care of an old guy who can't walk and nursing did you not hear? Like, I ain't going to the beach. This is not like fun time,
It's a full-time job.
And the worst part about it is like now every time I go to Florida, I have this when I see the palm trees. Like I have this aversion. I get anxiety. Like fucking palm trees give me
Remind you
anxiety
of-
now.
yeah.
Yeah.
because I'm used to it's like I just need to smell piss
shit.
and see skyscrapers, to feel normal. You know what I mean? Right. But
I literally watched a homeless man take a shit in a pizza box the other day. Mm-hmm.
let's consider it.
Yeah, I stopped to watch. But those are the
Yeah,
types of things
that was nice
I
of him.
need
The
in my
fact that he
life.
even like used the pizza
Use the
box.
box. Yeah.
That was like,
Easy cleanup.
Did he do
Yeah,
it? Did he
that
do
was
it?
very-
Did he do it in 30 minutes or less?
I wasn't there for that for
Okay.
the whole time, but
That's shorter than me if he did.
Have you guys seen the guy that like shits by Panchitos on McDougal? There's like this like homeless guy or quasi homeless guy, and like he will like shit on the tables at like in front of Panchitos, and he's got literally the longest balls. Like his balls, like Richie Redding is a comic, and he posts pictures of him because he does it so frequently, and like. His balls like go like to his knees, and he's like shitting on the table, and you just see these balls like dangling past his knees because he's squatting on the table. He never uses a pizza box,
Just right there on the table.
just right there on the table, and somebody's eating on that table. Like,
yeah, because they wipe it off, right?
yeah,
I'm
they
pretty
just
sure.
they're not gonna throw the table away.
There's somebody that's mad every single night.
But
They're
in the
wiping
village,
that shit
but
off.
downtown in the village, that's considered performance art.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Well, he's the guy that yells.
Oh, he's yelling and shitting at the same time.
at the same
No,
time,
I
the
mean
guy
when
who's
he's shitting,
before and
he's
after.
quiet. But like,
Oh, the guy
like,
who has
that's his-
Tourette's, the white guy.
Yes,
Who has
yes.
will you be kindly enough to donate?
Yes, yes.
for the homeless.
Yeah,
and he has
that's the long
marijuana.
nut guy.
Oh, I never seen him shit. in
Yeah.
there. Oh, I just hear him
Yeah.
with the Tourette's. Oh,
Yeah.
it's a whole new dimension about this
my God.
guy.
The
Yeah.
fact that he's
I-
silent during the
and you
shit,
know-
but he has Tourette's.
Like 10 years,
beforehand.
I see. You think you know a homeless deranged person, and then
Until you see him
They
shit.
bring it to
Yeah.
another level.
you get a whole new.
Right, you're missing that 12 o'clock show, bro.
Yeah, exactly. you're at the pair late, like not even late night. You're at the pair like past 9 o'clock, and he's shitting on tables.
When's the last time any of you were up in East Harlem, like 125th and Lex?
Probably a couple months ago.
Yeah.
Walking or driving past?
Just around in
Look at this
general.
bougie motherfucker walking or driving past all the filth, all the disgusting filth. As you guys, look, and you guys are drinking prosecco. Look at you.
Who do you think brought the
motherfuckers.
prosecco?
The bougie one.
This bitch
He's
right
like-
here.
he's like-
This bitch right here.
It's like the homosexual with the
Who?
bubbles.
Was it him?
No.
Oh, you bought it?
Excuse me.
Yes.
Yeah,
Oh,
bro.
well, okay.
He knows how to treat the ladies over here.
Yes, oh yes.
Yas
You're
Queen.
getting,
Yes.
you're getting cock points right now.
Right.
You're getting cock points. As
I
we-
was like, oh, he brought us a Prosecco.
I should have known, right? I know, especially with I like your mustache. It just says like a guy who would like bring prosecco to a podcast. I love it.
Prosecco that he probably made.
Yeah, he's like, yes, this is from my family's vineyard, one of our many. No, but the reason why I brought it up on 125th Lex is because you're talking about shitting outside. So there's a path mark that used
Yes,
to be there.
yes.
Okay, so the path mark is now an example that urban blight still exists in Harlem because it's been closed for like a year. I don't know how long.
Right,
It's been
Yeah,
closed.
I was
yeah.
gonna say, yeah.
So now the Pathmark has become a multiple public restroom for homeless people, and all the loading areas, the back service doors, literally they just back it up and drop trout and take a shit right in there. No
Wait,
pizza
it's
box.
open and you can see it?
It's open. They're shitting in the doorways. They are just dumping right out there. And in the wintertime, it's not a problem. It's cold.
Well, you slip down the hill.
Everything's fresh. The shit freezes, it's considerate, But then now as it's warming up.
Right, the
it
hotter
is-
it gets, the more and more.
It is literally shit street. That's what it is. It is terrible. And it's like, And
120 Shit Street.
120 Shit Street. Yeah, 120 Shit Street.
Shit.
Yo, my 120 shit right here, son.
Could you imagine if you got to catch the bus right there every day?
And there is, I think, a bus because
Yeah,
there's a-
that's the one that goes to
There's a
Astoria.
bunch of
'Cause
buses
I
that
used to
go,
date this
like,
guy in
there-
Astoria, and like I would take that bus because it was like one stop to Astoria.
Yeah,
It's
because-
over by
right.
the other. There's like a major train. The LIR is over there.
No,
Metro North.
Metro North.
Metro North.
Metro North.
Metro
Yeah.
North is like over there.
And used to be all the people the zombies that were on like K2 and Spice and
Oh
all that
yeah,
shit.
yeah.
Oh man, dude.
So now, Judith, do you believe in karma?
I do believe in karma. I think that's an interesting question. I think it's the most selfish thing, or the most selfish act we can practice because it always returns back to us. I did actually. I have a quote down here which I wanted to share. If
Yeah,
You guys are
go
cool.
for it.
and it writes, "The law is simple. Every experience is repeated or suffered till you experience it properly and fully the first time." And I think, on some level, that which we are afraid of is, if you don't experience things, as they come up, you will, continuously, I think, bump into those same things in your life. So, yeah, I do believe in it. Do you?
No, I mean, I believe in karma, and I think that that quote I think is interesting because like I've recently had like this existential crisis that I don't believe in free will. So yeah, so like
You don't believe in free will.
yeah,
Wow. What's going on?
I told you I had an existential
Yeah,
crisis.
I see that.
So
I thought it was just turning 40. That's what I thought it was.
no, I had this like before I turned 40. So I was watching this like documentary about like free will and like choice and things like that. And then like one of these philosophers said something that I thought was like super interesting, and it's that we think that we have free will, but we don't, because every decision that we make is predicated on something that occurred in the past from a decision that we've already made. So, like, even though that you think that you have free will, like, oh, like, I'm going to eat in this restaurant, like, you think you chose that restaurant, but you didn't, because, like, you've already eaten something that's similar to that, like, maybe earlier in your life, or for whatever reason, maybe it's close to where you want to go, but like every
Also
decision,
commercials.
yeah, but like every choice that you make is actually predicated on a choice that you've already made. Therefore, you're not really making any choices. You're just kind of reacting to things that you've already done. So like it's kind of like made me feel like, oh shit, like we don't have free will.
On some level, and yes, I totally see that. On a train ride here, I was writing, actually. I said it's like the squirrel that actually stops and looks both ways before crossing the street, refusing to give in to the ignorance of just following its squirrelness and getting run over like every squirrel before him. You can see karma coming, but only if you pick up your head and make a specific decision to not just jump in front of it, because that's just what we do. That's what we humans do. That's what we squirrels do. I think on some funny level, free will is how we decide to see what's there, what's actually there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I feel like that's already explained it. So like you're a squirrel that looks both ways because you've just seen 6 other squirrels get hit by a car. Therefore, you had no choice but to look both ways because you've already seen what happens when you don't.
What
Yes.
What if you're a squirrel who just pushed those squirrels into traffic so you can steal their nuts? What do you think of that squirrel?
I think that's a paisan.
It's a New York squirrel.
That's a motherfucking Brooklyn squirrel right there. So now, Jonathan.
Yes.
The
You're like-
purveyor of Prosecco.
The purveyor of Prosecco. Now, have you grown up with immigrant parents?
Yes, I have one of them.
Okay,
Yeah.
which one?
My dad.
Okay, where's your dad
My
from?
dad's from Greece.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Like, do you feel like it's different growing up with immigrant parents and parents that are from the States?
Yeah. I was thinking about it is different. And it's kind of, in my case, I think it's better to be one or the other. So you could either be both your parents are from here, you're born here, or you could be both your parents are from somewhere else and you're born here, or you're from somewhere else. But when you have one parent from here and one parent from somewhere else, you kind of don't fit into either. So it's kind of weird, you know? So it's like there's a lot of culture going on here that you don't know a lot about, or in my case, I don't know a lot about, like, I don't know, baseball and football, like a lot of stuff like that I wasn't exposed to. But then there's a lot of stuff in my culture that I haven't been exposed to, like going to Greek school, like a lot of people. So it's like kind of being a half-breed, and you don't know where to fit in. Like, I don't know where to fit in. I've spoken to other people about it, and some of them have had similar experiences. You know, it's kind of it's like purgatory for ethnicity and nationality.
I've been living an ethnic purgatory my whole life. My father's Italian, my mother's Jewish, and so by Jewish law, since I was out of the womb of my mother, who's Jewish, I'm considered by Talmudic law Jewish. So I was raised Jewish, bar mitzvah, but I have an Italian last name.
Right.
So all the time I meet Jews and be like, "Oh, what's your last name?" And I'd be like, "Krishi," and they'd be like, "Oh, interesting." You know, it's like they're expecting like a Horowitz or a Goldberg or a Hirschner, you know, something like that. And then even though I had an Italian last name, because I wasn't Roman Catholic, you know, I was Jewish. You know, the Italians didn't really accept me. You know, so I was kind of like in that weird middle area as well, not knowing identity-wise, and plus my grandparents I never met on my father's. They predeceased his marriage to my mom, so before I was even born, they had passed away.
Oh, okay.
So I didn't have any connection with really that old school Italian part of the family, except my aunt, and she was like my godmother, but very non-religious, you know. And so when I moved down to South Carolina, it was even more culture shock. I lived there for like 10 years. I actually gravitated. Well, I never really had the Jews or the Italians on my side, so I guess I'll just go with the black people. And that's what I did. And I became friends with black people. Because I was actually, finally, I fell into the right mix because there was no Jews in my school at all.
Right.
So they were like, yeah, you just one of us now. You know what I'm saying? And I just... I gravitated towards that group, but I always wanted to kind of be friends with I was a real people pleaser when I was younger, you know? Mm-hmm. So as I got older, I kind of like, I would produce these friendships that would span from all the groups, and we'd all be hanging out, and people be looking like, what are all these fucking people doing together? Who did this? And I was like, yeah. Because I was the progressive one. You know, for being down south, you know, kind of to bring everybody together. Since I was this Italian Jewish kid who didn't have any roots, so I kind of collected all these people.
It's like, you're mine now.
Right. I created my own tribe. That's what I did. And I think that, in a way, I'm kind of lucky I did that because I think it's a good metaphor for life. Sometimes you just got to find your own tribe. You know what I mean? Maybe you're not going to be around the people where you came from, or if you do, for whatever reason, there's an ostracization, there's something that alienates you, and you got to find like-minded people. You know?
Yeah.
And I think that, like right now, more than ever with what's going on, that's what it comes down to. We just have to find more. You have to find like-minded people.
Yeah, look for the similarities in each other. I mean, I think we're all brainwashed in funny ways, just being part of this culture, to look for the differences in each other, in color and religion, and, you know, we're all cut from the same cloth and going towards the same place and seeking the same thing on some level. So I agree with you.
Are we all cut from the same cloth, though? Really? Is the cloth the great equalizer, or are there different fabrics that we're cut from?
Some of the fabric on the bottom is like dirtier than the other fabrics.
Definitely.
I mean, you know,
It's dragged on the ground. And
I've seen the variances of cloth, you know,
Yeah,
out
totally.
there.
Right.
You know, I mean, because cloth is cloth, but cheesecloth is not the same as silk. You know?
Sure.
right.
Unless you're cheese.
Yeah.
Then your cheesecloth is silk. I think it's in the eye of the beholder.
That's very poignant. I can see your existential crisis has
Right?
really brought this whole new introspective way of analyzing the world here, Marissa.
I know. It's
I'm very
it's the
impressed.
worst. It's the worst.
I'm very impressed.
Like I'm not even going to get into the whole fact that I don't believe happiness exists.
Oh,
Yeah. I had the same I had this like month long of crisis where free will doesn't exist and happiness does not exist. Yeah, it was fun.
I'm trying to disagree.
right,
But I can't.
right.
You know,
because
do you-
it's interesting because
Yeah.
no matter how happy somebody is, anybody in general, there's always going to be something that doesn't make them happy. There's always going to be some sort of challenge
Right, and that's what we focus
that
on.
is, that you focus on.
Yeah.
It's the yin and the yang. It's
Instead of just being happy.
yeah.
We so frequently go
But can
into
you
our
have-
head to try to analyze it all instead of just feeling it. And
Yes. But then when you feel it,
it passes and you feel something else.
exactly, you have to
That's
feel
the
something
nature.
else.
I
eventually.
think happiness, though, for me personally, is not a state of, elation as much as balance. We talk about being balanced, finding what the right recipe is for your physical, emotional, spiritual, psychic balance. You got to be balanced. Like when I'm balanced, that's when I'm happy.
but
if
are
I'm
you
not
happy or are you just balanced?
But that's what I'm saying. Well, that's the definition of happiness for me. That is that balance, And to be honest, what I've learned since I've been sober for a while, balance and happiness really just means like, how you doing? I'm like, I'm okay. You know what I'm saying? I'm not here. I'm not there. I'm okay. I'm not. I don't want to be manic.
But
you
that's
know?
how you're.
Yeah.
That's how you're defining happy.
Well, I mean, for me, it's just being like, I'm okay.
See,
I can breathe. You know what I mean?
I feel like
don't
I
feel
feel like you've
constricted.
lowered
I
the
feel-
bar for happy.
Yeah.
Right.
You know?
Because I feel like I'm a pretty like even killed person to begin with. Like I'm usually never really ecstatic, and I'm usually never really sad. Like I just kind of live in this middle, and so like. I don't really like. I might be amused by something, but I don't think that's happiness. Like, it's just like if I'm around my friends and we're having a good time, like I'm being amused at the moment, but like I don't necessarily feel like I'm happy. Like, but I don't necessarily feel like I'm like sad at that moment either. But like I don't feel like I don't think I understand happy.
I go ahead, Rodney. I'm sorry.
Well, interesting because I feel like it's a choice. Like I choose to feel a certain way in general, and when I don't feel that way, I take myself out of whatever situation I'm in, and I pick something that's gonna make me happy. Like I'm really into music, so I'll listen to certain musical things that like put me in a certain headspace, or go to certain places, or do certain things that like make that happiness palpable again.
Totally.
As opposed to living in that non-happy space.
Yeah.
Like, are you happy or are you just having a chemical reaction?
Well, maybe that's what happiness is.
yeah.
I mean, if you want to define it scientifically into biochemical level, yeah. I mean, that's what the brain is. It's just a bunch of electric charges and chemicals that are, being you either have too much, too little. I mean, that's why big pharma is a whole industry.
fuck.
To deal with
Right.
people with too much, too little. Jonathan saying what you said. Oh, you really lowered the bar on happiness. Exactly. That's how I maintain happiness. I keep the expectations really low.
Yeah, I don't mean that in a bad way.
No.
I just- yeah.
And I hear, but to speak to what Marissa said, I think it's interesting. Like right now when I'm doing the podcast, I enjoy doing these things. So these things make me happy. Is this happiness? No, not necessarily, but
Right.
it makes me happy.
It's an episode in
Right.
which you feel happier than
Right.
you were previously, but
Right.
you're not living an existence of happiness.
When I do stand up and I perform and I'm on stage and I'm totally connecting with the audience and I'm killing, that makes me happy. When I sing with the band and do shows, as Marissa see me, and I perform, that makes me happy. Is that happiness, or is it just the simple fact that I predicate my existence, my balances, on doing something every day, at least one thing a day that makes me happy. That doesn't mean I'm in a perpetual state of happiness. It's things I do that make me happy.
Sure, and it's not the denial of the other, of the sadness. I think it all exists together. I was thinking about it. I think I equate gratitude with happiness. You know, when I could really see what's out there, sure, something could break my heart and I'm crying about it, but in that same moment is my happiness. It is the holistic acceptance of what is. You know, it's not to define myself as the happy one or the angry one or the this one, and not to place judgment on any of those moments, because then you're taken out of it. Not to sound too lofty, if you will, but
I'm the one that brought existential crisis into the mix, so I can't call anyone lofty.
okay, beautiful. I guess I just hear my dad in the background. So.
But that gratitude piece, though, I feel like it's just so important, because that is what really helps me. I don't know about anybody else, but like when I'm feeling a certain type of way that is away from, that centered, happy place, the gratitude and just being grateful for what I have and thinking about where I came from and thinking about the fact that it could be worse no matter what I'm going through, changes my whole perspective and brings me back to like that place. Gratitude is like a huge part of my life.
And I piggyback on that. I meditate every day, praying. I've been sober for like 10 and a half years. So one of the things that I do is my balance is I don't leave the house before I pray and meditate. Now, when I say pray and meditate, I believe in a higher power, a being. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's Allah, if it's Jesus, if it's Buddha. I don't know if it's Moses. I really don't care. I don't need to know the answers. I just know that there is something, I think, that is collectively bigger, better than me. And so, I meditate every day, and that's what I say. I say, God, thank you for another chance of living. Thank you for allowing me to rise up out of bed this morning, stand on my own 2 feet with a general sense of health and well-being. Thank you for a family that loves me, friends who care about me, colleagues who support me. Thank you for the gifts of sight, sound, taste, smell, and touch, the roof over my head, clothes on my back, food in my stomach, and most of all, thank you for being a part of my life. Despite you, I'm lost, and with your presence, I am truly grateful. And so I have to, I have to start, I have to check into gratitude, because it's not about making me happy. It's about taking me out of the have-nots and the sadness and reminding me, hey, I'm okay.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things that I have that others do not. And I think that we live in a very what have you done for me lately kind of society, that everybody wants something, and if they don't get it immediately or right then and there, they're upset, and they throw these little, like adults having tantrums, these little tantrums, and it's like you gotta just be grateful for what you do have, and we just don't do it.
Well, I know that I'm definitely not. I definitely don't practice like gratitude, and it's not because I'm not thankful for things, but like I feel like I'm all about existential crisis today. But so,
who are you, Marissa?
Do we know who anyone is? But
we're
like,
all illusions, if that helps.
We're all smoke and mirrors. But like, I feel like I don't necessarily practice gratitude because I feel like in gratitude, it doesn't conform with my ideology of life, because I'm an equalitarian, so I believe that all people are equal, and so in gratitude you are thankful that you are more than someone else. And I don't think that I am more than a beggar, and I don't think I am less than a millionaire. So, like, I feel like in this whole thought process is I'm thankful for the things that I have, and this and the other thing, that you're saying that you are better than someone else and you are less than someone else. And I think that we are all the same. I feel like everyone in this room is as good a person as Elon Musk, and I feel like everyone in this room is as bad a person as a serial killer. Like, I think that we are all the same.
I definitely agree with that last point, for sure. I don't think that gratitude is about having more or less than somebody else. And I really do, just to come back for just a moment on the idea of big pharma and the need to control or to identify unwanted behaviors. It's to become for a moment the one who has bipolar or the one who has this. I honestly think all of these patterns exist within everybody.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. But when I just become that one part of myself or the part of myself that is better than other, I agree with you that that's not a practice that I want anything to do with.
Yeah. Because,
I think gratitude is absolutely just a place of, consciousness, of being able to see what's there and simply,
acknowledgement
Acknowledge it.
of that,
Yeah.
of what is just here in front of you. Not like I'm better than anybody else or like I'm less than anybody else, but like this is what is here right now and the appreciation of that.
But I think also gratitude is the antithesis of egoism, because, when you are so self-absorbed in your own ego and your own personal power and who you are as an individual, you tend to get, gratitude tends to become absent, in your life. So for me, it keeps me kind of like at the right, so I don't get, for lack of a better term, for layman's term, too big for my own britches, and I think, and as a performer too, you get, it's like a weird, you get on stage, it's like you have to have a little ego, but not too much. Because when you do stand up, you're throwing yourself, to the wolves emotionally and psychically. Because if you're really doing stand up the way you should be allowing yourself to be vulnerable. And
Right.
to have vulnerability is the absence of ego, is to be humble, to give that away. But you also have to have a certain level of confidence to do that, and confidence can be equated with ego too. So you're really doing a fine little tap dance with that. And that's why for me with the gratitude thing is it just makes me realize that I am not that special.
Exactly.
Period.
And I think vulnerability is the strongest suit that we could wear as a performer, It's I am just as shitty as you, let me remind you how. I am just as ugly as you, let me remind you,
And that's what people want to see.
Exactly, man. We want to see the raw, ugly
Right.
truth, which is beautiful. I want to see the guy taking a shit with his balls rubbing the table in the West Village.
And that's why I tell shit jokes, you guys. So now, Lee, do you feel that sexual compatibility is important in a relationship?
Oh, we're going from we're really all over the place here.
Back to the good stuff.
Back to the good. It always gets back with me down to fucking. That's what it comes down to.
I mean, those are your topics.
I know. I know.
I think everything comes down to that.
I agree by how we're hardwired in human nature. Absolutely right. Sexual compatibility for me. Now I'm 42 years old. So what I discovered, it took me a long time to discover it, is that it's this simple juvenile kindergarten formula that it took me 42 years to discover is that high sex drive is good with high sex drive. Low sex drive with low sex drive is good. High sex drive with low sex drive, no good.
Doesn't work.
And I had to go through a 6-year relationship and a marriage that lasts about 4 years to figure that out.
Are those your feet under the table playing with mine? Is that you?
Yeah.
That's all
That's
right.
me. Sorry.
That's all right.
Yeah, it's Jonathan's, but I'm actually channeling. I'm astro projecting myself to play for. He doesn't realize it. He thinks he's exercising free will right now.
He made me do it.
But it's really my psychic Jew power. That's what I'm doing right now. Because Jews control minds, the weather, and the media. Just so you know.
I thought you controlled the banks.
Yeah. No, but I think honestly, I really do believe, and I know, the cliche opposites attract. That's fine, and other things. You have the things that counterbalance. But I think when it comes to sexual compatibility, you cannot be opposite of your partner when it comes to sexual needs and drive. You must be on the same page, because eventually, one side or the other or both is going to become tired, and the relationship will not sustain itself. And listen, the reality is that we are sexual beings, and we will be sexual beings for a very long time until we get to a certain age. Biologically, I think that, I mean, I can't speak, I'm not a woman, but obviously after menopause, you're going through certain chemical hormonal changes,
I don't know. I haven't menopause.
No, you
yet.
haven't. I know. Listen, I ain't saying you. I know. Like, I'm just saying in general. Like, an
I'm
age.
bragging right now. Goddamn it.
I'm talking. All right. Let's not get ageist here, okay? God damn it. Goddamn ageist. No, but I'm thinking that like at a certain point in time, I think even men. I think for the majority of our lives, men and women we are sexual beings, and if you're going to be in a relationship with somebody. Let's say I'm 42 for let's say the next 25, 30 years, who knows that I'm going to always have a high sex drive. And that's who I am. So I need somebody who's going to be on par with me. And if I don't have that, there's going to be, and it's not about even the cheating thing, all right? It's about a level of emotional connection too. Because, sexuality and emotionality are very interconnected when you're in a relationship. And people don't realize that. People think like guys, like, oh, we just want to get off. Listen, I can go in the bathroom and jerk off and alleviate the problem very quickly.
Are you leaving us right now?
Yeah, I'm leaving right now. The question is, when I have sex with my partner and I enjoy sex, is my partner enjoying sex as much as I am? And if the answer is no, then that's a problem. Because it breeds resentments and insecurities and a whole host of issues that nobody wants to have when you're in a relationship.
So, I think that it's more than even just like the sex drive, but I think that it comes down to like as well as like what kind of sex. Because I've dated guys that were like really into like BDSM and I'm not, and like.
How did that work out?
It didn't. I didn't even know that was like a thing that they were into. And then
Did you try anything?
I was not trying. All of a sudden, out of the blue, he was trying to choke me out, and I had like PTSD, and I like kicked him in the nuts. And
wow.
He's just like, "Oh, what are you doing?" And I'm like, "What are you doing?" And then he was just like, "Oh, this is my thing." And
did you have PTSD for something happened when you were younger?
Yeah.
Okay.
And so, like, it was just kind of like, I'm like, listen, like, this is not something that I'm into. Like, you kind of need to communicate that.
Right.
And, like, he was, like, into, like, choking. And, like, that is a trigger for me.
Sure.
And so, like, it was, like, I'm like, okay, if this is something, like, you really need, you can put your hand on my neck, but you can't squeeze it because I cannot predict when or where, like, I might react to that. Because, like, there might be a day, like, I might be cool, and there might be a day that I'm trying to set your house on fire. I have no idea. What I mean?
That's
Like,
weird, though. Like, guys shouldn't just, like, bust that out. You know what I mean?
Right, you
like,
can't just start choking me out
like,
of nowhere.
come on. Like, there's a lot of guys who are like, oh, yeah, I'm a dominant guy. And you just, like, start doing all this stuff. It's like, that's not how it works. Like,
you have
don't
to
just
communicate
Yeah,
this.
you have
You
to
gotta
communication. You have to have some kind of consent. And you have to kind of feel someone out and know what they're into.
Right.
It's
Right.
not all about you, you know?
You got to be
Right.
you got to be intuitive.
Yeah, intuitive, exactly.
when you're dealing, and I think a lot of people, I think a lot of men probably too. Unfortunately, guys, we fucking suck in a lot of aspects. So just take it. I think a lot of men are not very emotionally and sexually intuitive.
Yeah.
And then they wonder why, like, I don't understand why my chick like acted like this. Like, well, because you grabbed her by the throat and you didn't know, like, what she had been through in her life, and she fucking spazzed out because she had good reason to.
She's not a rag doll, dickhead.
Yeah,
Just
she's not
common
rag doll,
sense. Common sense.
right.
It's like you got to know if maybe somebody's not going to be into that. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
Right.
It's a dance,
It's not like you're bringing someone a corsage, you know? Like,
Right.
I had a guy pee on me in the shower one time.
What do you do?
He peed on me like while we were in the shower.
You
like,
said
like,
you wouldn't mention that in public.
but I was like, I'm not into that, and like I feel like you definitely should have said, "Hey, I like peeing on guys."
Hey,
Was it
Before you just start peeing.
Since it was in the shower, it wasn't really that golden, huh?
Right, yeah.
It's more,
It was
more,
pale yellow.
it's more
Pale yellow.
translucent.
Translucent yellow.
Yeah, the translucent shower.
Kind of like tea.
But like I kind of feel like yes, like being compatible sexually is important, but like for me, like you know, like I've had a lot of partners that are not as I guess they're not as into like as frequent a sex as that I would like,
Right.
and like I'm fine with that. Like
What's your
I'm-
frequency?
I mean, I mean, ideally, I'd
That's
like.
a great question.
It is.
Yeah.
That's an excellent question.
No, I mean, like,
What's the frequency, Marissa, with your sexual needs?
I mean, I would like every day, but like if
Okay.
it's not every day,
Really,
like,
every day?
yeah,
Wow.
I'm
Okay.
yeah.
Has
like,
it always been like that?
Uh,
Because I've heard that women, when they reach like certain ages, they want it more than when they're other ages. Same with men.
So like I'll say that like I've definitely had partners where we'd have sex like maybe like 4 or 5 times a day, and then like but and I'm not saying
What
that
do they do
it's-
for a living?
I've never had that.
Yeah.
no. So,
I want that job. What can we do to get that can have that job?
I mean, I was like younger, but like you can like fit it in. It's just kind of like I'm not saying that everyone is like every experience was like a stellar
Right.
experience,
Sometimes
but
you wanna
like
bust that nut.
You're a great time manager.
Yeah.
it- it-
That's what I like
15
about you.
minutes.
You're an
Wow.
excellent time manager.
but like and like now I'm like, you know, if it's like every other day, that's fine. But I've definitely like I feel like my partners have been like, oh, like you're insatiable, and I'm like, this is like twice a week. Like, and you're 10 years younger. What is your problem?
Right.
Like, I would not be dating
Yeah.
like a younger dude.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I
Same
mean?
thing. When I was married to my wife, she was 10 years younger, and I made the stupid generic judgment. So, well, she's 10 years younger, so she's going to have a high sex drive. No, doesn't mean anything. Doesn't mean anything.
It might be the opposite.
Age doesn't have anything to do with somebody's sex drive at all. It is really how somebody's hardwired, you know.
Yeah.
And I think, and I'm going to tell you honestly, I am a firm believer. I think that sex drive, like many other attributes that we have as humans, is genetic, and I think it is hereditary, and it's passed on, you know, through as far as like familial history.
Well, God bless your
okay.
Italian gene then.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I'm a purebred, so
Yeah, you know.
fighting against my DNA.
No, but you know, can I be honest with you? And this is the fucked up thing. Oh, by the way, I don't like it when a woman, and I do a little light choking and hair pulling on it, but you know, nothing like, you know, that this guy's trying to murder me. But you know, just like, hey, I'm a man, I'm here. So, you know, but I don't
It's a
like
light
when
choke.
I don't like when women put their hands in my throat. I'm not comfortable with it. I don't like any, and I think it goes back to this. My mom, you know, I had a strained relationship. She was abusive, you know, when I was young, this and that. And so I really feel like a woman's going to try to fucking kill me. You know what I'm saying? Like, or really hurt me if she's got her hand on my throat. And I don't like it. I get uneasy.
That's
you know,
how I
with
feel
that.
when I see a wooden spoon.
You know, really?
Yeah.
You get
Oh,
that?
wow.
Were you beaten with it?
Yeah, like you bring out a paddle or a whip, it's cool.
Right.
But you bring out that wooden spoon, and I just freak out.
Just
Like,
shrivel
I
up.
shrivel up. Yeah,
That's
I
it.
just
Right.
make it stop.
The
Yeah.
penis retreats.
Make it
just,
stop. Yeah.
Just sits
Yeah.
out. No, but I don't mind. Like if a girl
back
could
me
squeeze
like
my nipple, she could, you know, pull my hair, smack. But on the throat, I don't. I literally something in my brain says, they're going to kill you. You know, you need
And
to
then
preserve.
that was the problem with
Yeah.
him because it was just like I'm like, listen, I'm not cool with like I'm not really into like BDSM in general. I will try things out with you and see where my tolerance is. Just like if you are so into throat shit, like you can put your hand in my throat, but like just do not like try to start squeezing it because like I that is going to be triggering. And like I will have like blackout PTSD kind of situations where like I'm like literally like, and he's just like, what the fuck? And I'm just like, I don't know, what were you doing? And then he was like, oh, I was choking him. Well, like, you know, and like he just was not into the fact that he couldn't choke me. And then it was just kind of like I tried to like kind of stay into it and just tap his arm like okay, listen, like that's
like wrestling
uncomfortable.
when you got to tap out.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, like he'd have his
UFC,
hand around my throat, and I just like kind of like tap his arm, like just like or you know
Yeah.
like stop, and then like he would go soft, and then it's just like now this is like a whole nother production.
He would lose
But
his
that's-
erection.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's different.
It's just
That's
like
weird.
so like
Wait,
you.
well, that, right. I was going to say
What
that's
can-
weird.
That's
That's
weird,
going
yeah.
into like a whole nother level. That's not just like regular sex. That's
like a
like, oh, that's,
predator.
that's
Like
a fetish.
he needed
and it's
to
something different.
he needed
He
to be
needed to-
violent to maintain an erection to be turned on. He needed
Right.
to be
That's-
violent. Right.
That's a different level.
And then now it's just like I feel like this is like a whole nother fucking production of like, let me try to see how to make him hard again without choking me out. Like, you know,
Yeah,
it's
but
just-
that's enough information for like to know that that's not where you want to be. I mean,
Yeah, no, it wasn't.
It's
Yeah.
not.
It's not a good
Love is
match.
not about control at all. You know, I heard sex is about control in some funny ways, and lots of weird shit comes out during it. But fuck that.
Especially
Yeah, it's
especially the rape kind of sex. That's really
right, because I
that's
feel like
control.
that's just
Yeah.
dangerous.
Like
right
I
there.
can't get off
Like,
on porn unless it's a snuff film. Like that's a red flag.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like
No,
it
for
was
real.
definitely, and it was like, and it wasn't even like we were just like I met him at a bar. Like no, like we known each other for like a fucking a decade.
Oh,
But,
wow.
Like
Oh wow! So,
thought it
you,
was
so you
a
trusted
recent
this
thing.
dude
yeah,
a lot,
yeah.
That's surprising.
and you felt
mean,
when
you
he
would
pulled
have
that
to in
when he
order to-
pulled that it really violated. It was like it was a real violation of trust because of the rapport you had with him, the long-standing relationship.
Yeah, it wasn't
Yeah.
like, oh, I met you on an app. It's just
Yeah.
like, no, we've been like friends for like fucking over a decade.
I think that's odd that you've known him for over a decade and you didn't know he was into that.
I mean,
So,
they were
well,
fucking
here
for
was
over
the
a
thing
decade.
though, is that like
And did he know about what had happened to you? That was causing the trigger.
he didn't know what had happened to
Okay.
me.
Okay.
But like I had known other people that had situations with him, and they were like, "Oh yeah, he did this to me," and I'm just like, "Really?" Because like I've known him for so long, and he's never done that. And it was just like, "Oh yeah, we were in a cab, and then like he like choked me out," and I'm just really, and I was just like that. Yeah, and
So this
like,
guy had like a dark side that he was kind of hiding.
I don't
Very
think he was
well.
hiding it.
Well, to you,
yeah,
because
he
when you heard those
never-
things, that was foreign to you. Like out of
literally our first date, he asked me if he could kiss me. Like that was like so like if you're
Gentlemanly.
going from like, oh, can I kiss you to like just like I'm gonna try to fucking strangle you right
It's so
now. That's a
ironic. He'll ask
big-
you if he can kiss you, but he's not going to ask to choke you out.
Yeah,
It's
like
kind of
yeah.
it's kind of like a vampire. They can't come in unless you invite them,
Right.
but once they're in, they will suck you fucking dry.
Right. Yeah,
That's it.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So like it was definitely like a weird situation, and it was just kind of like he didn't know like my past or like
Right.
trauma or whatever, but it was just kind of like. Yeah, like I'm gonna react to that, and like I can't even predict when I'm gonna, because like I can't even tell you I'm gonna react to that 100% of the time. Like
Right.
but like when I do react to it, you're just gonna be like, oh, what are you doing? Like
I'm not breathing, motherfucker.
Right.
yeah, yeah. So
Like,
Yeah, no,
but like,
see.
bitch, did I tell you you could turn blue? Did I tell you
Hey,
that?
see that's just I feel like that's just weird.
no, I mean it was
It's the
totally
whole situation is just like, wait, what?
no, it was totally strange, but like
Are you still friends with him?
no, but not for the reasons that you might think.
Oh,
Yeah, like it was like a whole nother fucking drama. Like I might end up having to like speak in court about some.
Oh, I think did you tell me? Did you talk about this a while back? I remember
shit.
hearing. I remember you
Yeah.
talking about this.
okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Sorry, it was like a quick.
Is there
sorry.
restraining orders involved in this?
From other people?
From like other, it's not related to
It's
me.
not related to
Right.
her, but like her name came up in a situation.
Testify. You gotta
yes,
testify.
Yeah.
Oh,
so like
shit.
You've been
Yeah.
subpoenaed.
Is it sexual or non-sexual?
The possible subpoenaing and court business is of a sexual nature.
Nope. See,
And can I just say?
he watches cartoons all day and likes to choke motherfuckers out. No.
Yeah. Yeah.
No.
I just
no.
for the record, like I just want to say, I think the word subpoena is a sexual word in itself.
I agree.
Right
Yeah,
there.
I was thinking
I
about the
definitely
word, but
agree.
Yeah.
bit my lip.
It
Let's
was
just
a
be
penis
honest.
under
Just
your
throw an
penis.
S at the
This is
end.
illegal.
It's a
Right.
penis.
penis.
Let's call a penis, okay?
Yeah.
Doesn't matter if it's
Why,
sub,
why can't
dom,
it be a vagine?
you know.
Yeah.
You've been sub-vaginaed.
Right.
No, it's true.
Sounds good. Sub-vaginaed. You've been
It's
sub-vaginaed.
the patriarchy again.
Goddamn.
I mean,
Trying to
yeah.
Damn.
No, it was
dicks
a-
everywhere.
Yeah, no, it was like totally
You just
a
made my
lie.
mouth
It
water.
Our
was-
justice system is predicated on dicks. That's it.
Yeah, no,
love
it is totally predicated on dicks, but like, yeah, no, I mean, it wasn't anything that like I did or. Because like I said dicks and then I just happened to like bump into the mic.
Not sort of thing about dick.
Everything. This podcast is predicated on. Look at that. It's a dick in your face. Everything. Look
Everything
at
is
this. Look
a
at this
goddamn
fucking
dick.
prosecco. It's a
Exactly.
phallic symbol. It's a dick. You know.
Everything is a
Right.
goddamn
Everything. That can right there. It's a girthy dick. That's what it is.
I know.
I know.
It's a
I hate when they
girthy
try to
dick.
like put your head like
They
all
could
the
have
way
easily,
down there.
yeah, they could have easily made the microphone into like a slot.
The Washington Monument. A big fucking dick. You know what I'm saying?
It's
World
true.
Trade Center everywhere.
It's true.
Mouth watering.
Double dicks. Well, formerly.
Still too soon.
Yeah.
Now it's one lone cock.
I,
One lone cock of freedom.
the Lone Ranger. No
Is there any kinks that you do like? Great.
kinks that
Yeah.
I do like.
I was trying to lighten it up after the trauma.
I know. On a yoga ball.
That's also a good question. Yeah.
Oh well, I don't feel like the yoga ball is a kink thing. That was
Wait,
just
what's
something
wait,
that's
what's
fun.
going on with the yoga ball?
Yeah, where'd that come from?
Yeah, I don't get it.
Oh, like I like fucking on a yoga ball.
Wow,
Really?
Really?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It could be
Because
kind of-
she's a
that's kind
great
of a
time
kink thing.
manager. She's like, you know what? I didn't have time to really flex workout, so I'm going to get my yoga in at my
Yeah.
fucking same time.
Right.
Until you thrust too hard and someone goes
Man.
flying.
Why do you
Or
like
you bust
fucking
the
on the
ball.
yoga ball?
Or you bust the ball.
For we know for but why do you like? What's the big deal?
I like the like non-gravity of it. Like if I'm like on top, then I'm not like actually like I don't feel like I'm on the ground.
Oh, I don't. Oh.
Like I do a trust like
That's-
a
that
trust
is-
fall fuck on the yoga ball.
Yeah.
Like
A trust fuck.
yeah. Yeah, no. That water. I like water. I think I like non-gravity related things. Maybe
yeah, you like that.
non-gravity
Yeah,
is
because
my
like you're,
you
you're
like that.
my
floating
kink.
and you're getting
Gravity's
fucked
too
at the
much
same time.
pressure. It's holding you down.
Float- floating and
Skydiving.
Gravity's
sex.
choking you, and it's offensive.
You know.
Can you? Oh, is that a thing?
Skydiving sex? It is now. I never thought of it until she mentioned that.
Well, if you think about it, when they go tandem, it's very sexual. You're like strapped to somebody,
Yeah.
and they're like, "Yeah, I'm here for your safety," but really,
See,
I
I'd
want
have to be on the bottom.
like,
I want
Yeah,
to dry
yeah.
hump you with 30,000 feet. That's
Right,
really
exactly.
why.
I don't think
surprised
my
her.
dick's gonna stay hard at 3,000 feet.
I was
in order
like-
to fuck you. Like,
it's
I feel
like-
like that's like the inverted dick
like
at that point.
Every predator,
I'm so scared.
every predator has been like, "I finally found a job where I can me too, and nobody knows.
I feel like her
I'm here
ex-
for your safety."
Her ex would be a good skydiving instructor. Like you're jumping out and he's just choking you, and he's like, "No, you passed out from the altitude."
Oh, it happens all the time. Altitude sickness. Can I get a copy of the video? Oh, the camera wasn't working. Actually, we had a problem. We had a. Sorry about that.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think definitely like a gravity thing. I'm trying to think what else. Like
How about food? Any food involved ever? You ever do anything with food?
food isn't bad.
Okay.
Food isn't bad.
You know what splashing is?
No, it's splashing.
Splashing is when like people
Sounds like
they
there's
sit
fruit involved.
they sit in the food like naked,
Oh, no.
like sit in it like a cake, and they get a nice. They'll literally you got a beautiful fucking like carve of ice cream, and they'll just sit their ass right in the fucking cake.
No, I'm not into
If
that.
you saw my fridge,
And then
man,
you like lick it off, or what happens?
Well,
after you sit
believe
in it?
me, to eat some people's asses, you need to have cake in there. You know what I mean? That's
That's
Trust
prison
me.
shit, though. That's like
Yeah, I'm not into that. But like, I mean, I'm not gonna fault anybody for like honey or some like fudge sauce or something.
Whipped cream.
Whipped cream is fine.
it's basic.
Like yeah.
sriracha.
like that's
So
fine. I don't know. That's a little much.
I
I'm
don't like
gonna need
sriracha in
so many
general. I'm not-
tums.
Is that
I love sriracha.
what are you
So
doing?
good.
What are you doing? Splashing in fucking India? What's going on? Thailand?
You're just like
Jesus
dipping your
Christ.
balls in like Thai chili sauce.
Holy shit!
Sriracha makes everything better.
Yeah, he's like
It does. Have you ever read the back of the
like,
sriracha
when you
bottle?
are-
right?
You can put on
if you are
everything.
truly,
Everything.
if you are truly enlightened in a state of meditation, you cannot feel the sriracha burning your taint.
Yeah, then that's possible, I suppose. I'm trying to think. I'm not like super kinky. I'm not.
How about oral? How you on oral?
What do you mean? How am I on?
I'm asking. Wait, I mean,
a weighted
like
question.
receiving, giving, both.
She's more of
Like-
a receiver, right?
I mean, I'm more of a receiver, but it depends.
If you're in a relationship, will you be more of a giver if you're in a relationship with somebody?
And how does that tie
you're
into
really-
the throat thing?
That's true.
Oh, well, like nobody's choking you out when you're trying to
Right.
like.
No,
well,
I mean,
But
that's
the
thing.
gag
That's something
reflex,
that gag
the
reflex
gag
thing.
reflex.
well, I've got.
I hate it when guys like
Right.
push my head
Yeah.
all the way
You
down
know where
like
I'm
that.
going. You know
You're
where
just
I'm
like,
going.
Especially-
I understand the gag reflex thing because like that's even a problem with like brushing my teeth, and I didn't know because like I inadvertently started going to a dentist that like specialized in like people with anxiety, and like it was just like a Groupon that I got, and like she started like going for like the wisdom teeth, and I started gagging, and then she explained to me that like I have a couple of friends that also gag every time they brush their teeth. That is actually an anxiety about drowning, which I didn't know. And so like she specialized in it. So like she was like able to like totally clean my teeth without me like gagging because like she knew how to get around the whole. And I'm just like, holy shit, I didn't know. Like I knew that like choking was a problem for me, but I didn't know that I was like inadvertently having like PTSD every time I brush my teeth about drowning.
What are your thoughts on gargling?
I mean, I do. I mean, I gargle.
Are we on mouthwash here?
Well,
Yeah.
per se, what?
Yeah, I mean, is someone
Sriracha?
trying to
Yeah.
violently trying to force me to gargle something, or am I gargling in my own perceived free will?
Free will. Yeah.
Perceived free will, I can gargle.
Okay.
On your own volition.
On my own volition, I can gargle. I mean, it's as long as it's like minty.
Consensual gargling. In a
Yeah.
safe space, like your bathroom.
Is it okay if we use scope? Is it okay? Are you okay with that? I know Listerine could be a little harsh. In this scope?
Well, you know, they have non-harsh versions of Listerine now. They do.
Or
Ron-
Listerine.
Ronnie,
Get that
you-
Listerines. Go harsh.
Ronnie, you want to add to the kink or no? How are you on gargling? What's your stance?
I mean, I have
Are
a
you
great
are you a gargler?
I have great deep throat actions that they're like really. I'm cool with that. I just don't like the whole forcing of it.
Oh no,
sometimes.
like head on the back, like hand
Yeah,
on
when
the
you
back
put the
of
hand in the back of the head and they
then-
like push you all the way down there. I've thrown up on a couple guys.
Like the porno style?
But wait, when
Definitely,
you
yeah.
threw up, did they keep going or did they stop?
Well, they had to stop because there's throw up everywhere. I'm not
They don't
gonna
have to
continue.
stop. Excuse me.
Oh.
Vomit is an excellent lube.
Wow.
Oh, God.
So there's that.
This guy's a
Yes.
masochist.
No,
I
yeah.
want stomach acid in my
Right,
cock.
exactly.
No.
Exactly. Oh.
I will not pee hole the bird.
Is that McDonald's you had last night?
I want
Give me
undyed.
that sriracha, bitch.
I want undyed. I want undyed.
No, if I throw up on a dick, that's it for like right now.
I want undigested samosa on my balls. Oh yeah.
So, Lee Paul, what is your kink?
You know what? I'll tell you one little thing. It's like, well, here's a weird thing. This time, so I like my hair, my head played with. You know, like I get really relaxed, turned on. But this is one thing I discovered. I know what it was. My whole life. You know, I've always had a fucking OCD, a fetish with Q-tips, like and like clean my
so
ear,
good.
and it's like literally. So one time with my ex, I just because I was so vulnerable, and I just gave in. I was like, we were fucking. I was like, I want you to stick your pinky finger in my ear, and she did, and it fucking felt really good. And she kept on doing it, and it accelerated. I was able to come. I came like a champ. And so literally, she was fingering my ear. Why fucking me? Not like just ear fucking. Like it's simultaneous. It's kind of like, if a guy is, sucking on your nipple play while he's fucking you, or rubbing your clit, same thing. But see, this is my ear.
Or licking your toes.
Yeah.
The mystical fifth hole.
Licking your toes.
So
licking fuck
yeah,
too.
I have an ear fetish.
They
Yeah.
say the ear is similar like the foot, where it's a map of your whole body.
Right. It's erogenous, I
I don't
think.
necessarily have the same sensitivity in my ear.
Oh, I have it. I'm an ear fucker.
I've got
Or you
like
fucky.
sensitivity in my ears, but it's not on the inside of my ears. It's on the outside of my ears.
The
And it's-
lobe.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's been many a times I've been late for shit if somebody gets like the right, and so like
You
I
feel
had
it
like
tingling from the top of
one,
your head, like
Yeah.
all the way.
yeah, like I literally had like I've only had like one boyfriend in my life that like literally he get like the right spot on my ear, and I'd just be like, listen, you keep this up, like we are fucked for the whole rest of the weekend because we're not going anywhere. And then he was like, oh really? And I'm just like, no, really. And then he was just like, Monday morning he's like, oh, like you were serious, like but like yeah, no, like I'm not the inside, but like there's definitely parts on the outside of my ear with that.
But the
or-
toes are the same way because like I
don't like toe shit.
I'm not a foot. I'm not
Yeah,
a foot.
I
guy.
I'm not a foot guy for other
not
like
into it.
I don't like lick other toes, but like I was getting fucked and this guy started like licking my toes at the same time while I was getting fucked, and it was like the
I'm trying to think
most
about.
pleasurable.
I'm trying to
it
figure
was-
out the
Logistics?
so
right of how that was working out.
I was on
yeah.
the back.
Flexible.
Yeah, I got it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And he just and he's put
Oh,
it-
so like you're on the bottom,
I'm on my
and
back,
then he's
yeah,
just
and then he
like,
just, like, and then he
toe,
puts
toe,
my foot in his
Okay.
mouth.
That's
and
nice.
then, like, that was it was like I had never had that. I wrote a joke about it.
Yeah.
It was the whole
Yeah.
set because it was just like
Like some
this
guy
was
expects me to
crazy.
suck his toes. Like
Yeah.
there's got to be jewelry involved.
I will kiss a woman's feet, like the top, this and that, but I mean, not even until. And my feet, I'm like a hobbit. I don't want you doing that. It's not, please. I don't even want a girl licking my ass because I'm like, listen, please, I don't want to put you through that. It's
the
not
most
right.
amazing thing ever.
I don't want, and it's
absolutely
not,
love it.
Now I used to went through. I like a finger up there, like because especially when you have health insurance, it's like a free prostate exam. It's great. It's great.
So funny.
But but I think I even grew out of the finger thing after a while because I had
A dick.
No, not yet.
'Cause that's what I like a tongue and I like a dick and a finger. No,
Sir,
If you grow up from a finger, the next thing
I
is a
think
dick.
I resent your presumptuousness. It was a fucking prosecco bottle, okay? And let
There
me
was
tell you,
no human attached.
and that's actually how I open up champagne bottles at parties. I just have them shove them on my ass, and I pop the cork right in there.
Because Lee Paul is tight.
Yeah,
and it's all
tight.
spills out. It's champagne.
No, but yeah, that's I think the ear thing, and in there. A little finger in it. One time I was the closest I had to a gay experience was I was in a hotel room. This is before I got sober, and it was a bunch of cocaine and alcohol, and it was like a set of a porno, and there was a lot of fucking and sucking and crazy shit going on. So I was in a bed in one of these like not up to health code places, but fucking. When you're doing coke, like doesn't matter. But so I'm in this like
Producers
jacuzzi.
Club Hotel.
I'm in this like. Let me just say this: it's like a white trash jacuzzi. It's like an above floor jacuzzi, not a built-in one. One of those ones
I thought
in
it
a
was
hotel.
like a bathtub on a front lawn.
It was in a hotel room, and we were all doing coke and drinking. And I was in there with my girlfriend at the time, and this other guy, Danny, who actually was Greek as well, and he was bisexual. And so we were all in it, and all of a sudden I'm making out with my girl, and I feel this pressure on my asshole, like something trying to get in there. Squeeze.
Right.
And I looked at Danny, he was kind of smiling, and he had his big toe, and he was trying to shove it up my ass.
Whoa.
Yeah. Unsolicited, with everything. So I said at that time, and I was a lot younger. I was 22.
Consent is important.
I was not.
Take your socks off, man.
I was not an anal pragmatist at that time, and I was younger, and I was like, "Hey, Danny, I think your foot's in the wrong place." I just kind of. He's like, "Oh, sorry."
Hey, man, I'm
And-
sorry.
Yeah.
Oh my bad.
But I will say, at least I think he did have a very well manicured big toenail.
Oh,
Yeah,
'cause
'cause
you
he
would have
was
known.
slicing
It was
shit
well.
out.
It was
known if that
it was,
shit wasn't-
It was well manicured. Like I think this was his move to like pop straight guys' ass cherries. Like that was his
Toe up
move.
you real quick.
He used his big toe was like his big toe
It's
was like
welcome
the,
to your cherished jubilee.
yeah, his big toe was like the straight man asshole whisperer. You know, that's what it's like. Just the big toe,
'cause
just
you're
the tip.
A big
yeah.
toe in your ass. That's
Yeah.
definitely an introduction to a dick.
So, Jonathan, do you have any kinks?
You know, I was thinking about this. Like, I don't know what the difference between a kink and a fetish and just like some shit that you like. You know, like I don't know what makes something kinky. But I'll tell you, for porn, lately, like if I want to watch porn, there's got to be 2 dicks involved. So it's 2 dicks and a girl. It's some kind of double penetration.
Oh,
Yeah, but there has to be a girl involved. I can't do lesbian porn. I can't do girl on girl.
Why
A
is
lot of
that?
guys are into that. If there's no dick involved, I can't relate to it.
Okay.
I can't relate. You know, like a lot of guys are like, oh yeah, like let's like 2 girls. Like wow,
What about a strap on?
doesn't do it for me. That's not a dick. It's not the same.
Okay.
And you know what? Since you brought this up, I feel kind of bad. Like when like 2 girls, and one of them has to put on a strap on. I feel like I wish they had a dick because it's not the same as when you have a strap on versus a dick. It's just not the same. You know, it's sad.
I think
It's-
Speaking
Right.
from
Right.
someone that has a vagina,
Did you guys see
coming from
the?
somebody that likes dicks.
Hey, don't make any assumptions here.
Did you guys see the turtle video on YouTube?
No.
No.
All right, there's a video. I'll show it to you guys later. There's a video of a little turtle humping a shoe, and he's on this shoe. He's on the sneaker, and he's just like. That's the sound that he makes, and I feel bad for him, and that's how I feel if you got a strap on.
You know,
you
Jonathan
need
was
a dick.
actually driving me to Westchester like 2 weeks ago, and I swear to God, he said, "Hey, did you see the turtle video?" And just like he did,
yeah.
and I was like, "Well, I've heard funny videos of turtles having sex," and he pulls it out, and I swear to God, we were both watching it as he drove, and I was willing to die for it.
Judah, I was just thinking just now. I swear I just showed that to someone, and I couldn't remember who. It's you. It was you.
Yeah, man.
It was just
This
like
is
last week.
This is some CGI animated. This is a real turtle trying to fuck a shoe.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it made a noise
Sounds
like that.
hilarious.
I can play the noise. I can cue it up
sounds-
if you want to hear
That
it.
sounds.
Can you have
hilarious.
the guy, our producer here? Can you cue that up? We got it. Now we have to.
Okay.
We got it.
Yeah,
So we got to do
now-
it.
now you can.
We'll talk about something
Yeah.
else
So
in the
now,
meantime.
Judah, like, do you have any kinks?
Yes, anything squirting.
Okay.
Oh,
Ooh.
It's, you know, I'm a goal-oriented person, but
Like Old Faithful or human?
human.
It's still in my
So,
YouTube history.
so are you? How about the zip popping videos? You really into that?
Wait, what is
What's
zip?
I am.
Zip
Oh,
pop?
big time.
Yeah.
Zits popping.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
not at all, man. That's
Big time.
You said squirting.
Oh,
That's
man,
right.
listen.
Sits.
Ew. No.
Dr.
Oh, yeah.
Pimple. What
No,
is
no.
it? That
I
guy?
guess I did say
Dr.
anything.
Pimple Popper.
Yes.
On TLC.
Yo, that guy's
Oh,
got
I never
like
saw
20
that.
million views.
That,
you know,
that
that-
faith and shit.
Something about it. I can't stop watching it.
And they just pop the pimples.
That's so disgusting.
And
to
then
me.
it squirts out
I
like.
can't help but pop my own pimples, and like I get little like marks or whatever. And
Yeah,
I'm
but
just
to
like,
it-
get off
but it
watching
feels so
someone
good
else
when you,
pop Mount Vesuvius on their back is.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not getting off from that. But
I
like,
guess there's a middle ground.
People
Here.
are fascinated.
I feel like I watch it because like there's some sort of satisfaction in like seeing like there being someone having relief, but like at the same
Right.
time I'm just like I'm not getting off on it for the fact that like, oh, somebody's popping something. I'm more just like, oh, that must feel really good.
Right.
Like,
Right. It's you probably finally been relieved.
yeah.
You know? The
Like-
worst is seeing these people. Oh, you got it?
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
All right, I'm going to play the turtle with the shoe.
Okay, turtle.
The
with
turtle
the
with the
You can hear
shoe.
Let them see it.
A real
Can we
life.
see it?
Big Talking Brewski's reaction.
Get out. No.
Sounds like a stuffed animal.
Oh dear. Oh my.
It's not real, dude. It's not real,
That
man.
is real.
No.
Listen, that's not the only turtle video on YouTube. They
No,
all
but
make that sound.
They put that sound in. I'm sorry.
They all
The
make
turtles
that
not
sound.
make that
Oh,
sound.
you know what? Well, you've never had a turtle.
Yeah. So, Jonathan, so your kink is turtles fucking your shoe. That's what it is.
A little bit.
Okay, I got it.
A little bit.
His cowboy boot.
There's something about that sound. Yeah.
That sounds
pretty
It's a
good.
sad, it's a sad, pleasing sound.
You know what?
Who did that? That
You
was
know
really
what?
good.
It's
That's me.
really good.
Because you got it.
I'm like, ooh.
Well, because that's how I sound.
I'm glad, you know, it's nice to know that turtles can express joy. You know,
Yes.
That makes me feel good for them.
Yes.
You know.
Yeah, like that. I feel like
That's
that is
happiness. That was
that
pure
is-
happiness right there.
Yeah.
that is like a day of rosé come. Like
That's your sneaker fuck. A day of
Yeah.
rosé.
a day of rosé.
Day
is
of
a
rosé
sneaker
is a
front.
sneaker fuck for you. Okay.
That's what it sounds like.
You know what I like? I like to have like a whole, get like 20 turtles doing it.
Yeah.
And see, have like the Sopranos and the Tenant,
Yeah.
like a whole
You
symphony
could do
of
like
turtle fucking.
Handel's Messiah for
Yes.
Christmas with
I feel
turtles
like that's
having
a Prince
sex.
album.
Oh, yeah.
It's like a total. That is like beautiful. I feel like
Yeah.
that is like Purple Rain of Taurus's fucking. Like if you could
Did you
have
say
like,
Taurus's?
I said-
Yo,
T-H-O-T?
Taurus's. Where you from?
Taurus.
Where you
Yakis.
Yo,
From
yo,
Yakis. The
you ever-
Tauruses are fucking.
You ever seen them Taurus's fucking?
Turtle hoe over there.
It's like, oh my god, that turtle is such a hoe. She's from Tuckahoe.
It's a Tuckahoe turtle.
She's fucked every show in Payless.
She
idea.
just thinks that's a sneaker. Bitch, that's a slide.
Yo, that turtle's not going to buy anything. It's in DSW every week fucking them stilettos. Yeah.
Turtles.
Oh my God, he just fucked that jelly.
You cheap ass bitch.
Don't you come on my Jimmy Choos.
Stay away from those Crocs, girl. That's a different type of reptile.
But there is
good.
that's definitely multiple turtle penetration because there's a lot of holes on that fucker on those
And
Crocs.
the extendable neck.
There are a lot of holes in it.
The ugliest shoe known to mankind, in my
Crocs.
opinion. Crocs.
Or Crocs
They're
versus
nasty.
Uggs.
They're
Crocs.
so
Crocs.
ugly. Who wears that?
A lot of people.
Yeah.
They're gross.
And, like,
I
you
feel
get
like
a lot of
people in
lazy people.
kitchens
Giving up
and
on life.
people-
Anytime I
in
see you
hospitals.
with like fucking Crocs on, you've given up on life.
You either work in healthcare or you're into turtle gangbangs.
No, they wear them. I work at a
either-
restaurant. They wear them at
No, I
restaurants.
feel like
Listen,
Crocs
I
are
didn't- there was a
hospitals
Turtle
or
Croc video and I didn't
restaurants.
play it.
Totally. So now, Judah, do you feel like there are things that people mention or say that you feel like you're forced to defend because of your religion?
It's more address than defend. Because there are such fucking crazy things, which I'll give examples of. I grew up going to yeshivas my whole life, and I recently just quit working at a beautiful kosher restaurant in the city, and probably the best one in the city.
Which one?
Um,
Can you say it?
he'd probably, I don't know if he'll still feed me if I say it, but
You just want to say it.
You can say it off air. It just
Yeah.
doesn't matter.
yeah, I'll let you know. Working there, I really got to see some of the most, in quotations, powerful billionaires in real estate in the city, and lots of Hasidic people. And I have this character that I've been kind of developing for the past few years. It's like a Sacha Baron Cohen take on a Hasidic guy, which has become like a really therapeutic and nice way for me to kind of channel all of the weird shit that is part of, I guess, my culture. People do ask me if people fuck through the bedcloth or through a bed sheet, which I don't think is a real thing. I don't know if you've ever heard that. Like really religious
Wait.
people having sex with a bed sheet in between them.
The Mormons
What,
do
a hole
it.
and shit?
I think it's a total myth.
At Klan rallies.
Not blowjobs,
They do
straight
it a
up.
lot.
But yeah, there are definitely really radical, bizarre things which probably had their time and place, but I think are still happening. There's something called matzitza bapeh in Hebrew, which is a tradition of the blood being drawn from
the moil, right?
From the
with the
moil
mouth
orally.
Yes, I was going to say that.
And
It's-
there
yeah,
have been-
yeah.
which
Yeah.
is fucking insane.
And the kids get sometimes
STDs,
they get STDs.
yeah, which is
they get
insane.
herpes.
Wait,
Yeah, I
I
saw
heard about
that
that.
one
Herpes,
kid
yeah.
died of
Wait,
herpes.
wait,
from
wait,
this.
wait.
Yeah, it's true.
Explain exactly what's
Okay,
happening to
let's
drawing the
back
up.
blood from the mouth.
He
I'll
puts
let
his mouth
them
on the
explain
penis.
this because, like, I don't want to. Judah?
I don't know if I could give a history lesson that would be able to do it justice, because I don't
Well,
think
what's the
anything could
actual
do it justice.
process?
Well,
and
yeah.
why?
He drinks
What
a
is the
little
like
alcohol,
holy
right?
intention behind drawing the blood
What
orally?
is the
So they draw
actual
the blood
physical
from the mouth.
process
Right.
of what
Right.
occurs?
What I believe occurs is a straw between the mouth and the poor little baby's penis, and blood being drawn from it orally.
Right.
Sometimes they don't use a straw.
But
Yeah,
That's right. Just like
Why?
with cocaine, sometimes use a key. You know what I mean?
and
Wait,
sometimes you use a
what?
dick. I mean, you
Yeah,
use what you got.
that's right.
Sometimes you just use your mouth.
I'm almost afraid to know the answer. It's one of those things that I'd rather just deny because it's just so fucking disgusting.
That's tradition. That's
we're,
it's real.
We're setting our people back right now.
Yeah, I
This
know,
is-
man.
yeah.
But you got to.
This was not my topic. I would like to
I-
put on the floor, like, this is totally Judah's topic. I was so happy when Lee was just like, oh, when are you doing the podcast? I'm like, oh, thank God. Like I can, like, have another, like,
Another Jew voice.
on here so I don't feel like...
Right.
Hello, listen. It
I mean,
tastes good. You know?
I read an article about that though. There was a rabbi
Suppose
who's highly requested.
Right.
He's a prominent person in the
give-
community, and he had an STI, and he puts his mouth on the baby's penis.
Mm-hmm.
I think he drinks like an alcohol first, and then he keeps the alcohol in his mouth, and then he goes to the penis after they cut it.
I honestly
I don't know about the alcohol part.
I know that alcohol is used. I've seen babies like you dab like in a more traditional circumcision.
Can we just say in the 21st century,
There's no
why the fuck is this happening?
Yeah, there's-
Period.
for sure.
Tradition.
Jews, Muslims, fucking Mormon. I don't give a shit what faith. It shouldn't be going on.
Yeah.
Period. You know,
Absolutely.
at all. I mean,
Yeah.
it is so. Listen, I can understand. First
Wait
of all,
a minute.
in the 1950s, it would still be bizarre, but people were so subjugated by religion. Like, well, if the rabbi says it needs to be done, you know, they'll do it. But come on, now it's like,
It's right. It's 2019.
you know, you are not. Yeah. Like people don't even want to vax their kids, but can let a fucking rabbi blow them. Come on.
Infant.
Blow your infant
infant.
child.
Yeah, like we're not going to give my kid autism, but you can suck his infant dick for the Lord.
Right.
How do you
This
guys feel
infant
about?
has had a blowjob
Come on.
already. Is anybody correlating that on a that's not okay level?
Yeah.
How do we feel
Meanwhile,
about
the baby's laying there
circumcision?
going, "Come on, man, let me just get a little."
Is
head."
everyone here circumcised?
I am
yes.
not.
I am.
You're
I
not?
am.
Okay.
I am.
Okay. Good.
You circumcised?
I am. You're not.
I am.
Are you? Okay.
What-
So we're.
What was that? What was that hesitation?
nobody is uncut.
What was that hesitation?
I
I
What
would
was that
just like to
hesitation?
say though,
I'm
like
cut.
when a guy is not circumcised, they like need to give a girl a fucking or a boy like a heads
up.
up.
Yeah.
Like it is just
No pun
like,
intended,
I
right?
love an uncut surprise.
Heads up for
I don't-
circumcision, not heads up for choking.
You need a heads up for both.
Right.
But like I need a lot of heads up.
Unless you're getting choked by the foreskin, then it's all right.
Then I need a double heads up.
I agree.
But like it, yeah, because it's just kind of surprising. Because there've been a couple of, I mean, there've been a few instances, and it doesn't happen frequently. But there's a few instances where like a guy is not circumcised, and I forget that that's
A thing.
how they come, and I'm just like, oh, what is that? Like, and then I'm just like, oh yeah, that's right. That's how some people do that.
But that's interesting though, because that's the natural way.
Sure.
It's like we're surprised at the way people are from birth. You know.
yeah, but you don't want that anteater coming at you like all fucking like.
Speak for yourself, boo boo.
You know, but this is also very a Western thing too. I mean, if
Yeah,
you
because
know, if you
uncut
go-
dicks are more sensitive.
If you go to European nations, a lot of
Yeah.
circumcision is not is not prevalent.
nobody got
You know,
time for that.
especially Catholic nations, especially that are heavily Catholic. In Ireland, a lot of guys, you know, are not circumcised over there.
Well, that was my first Irish surprise.
There you go. So,
But like, and then I
Irish
was,
surprise.
and then I was just like, "Oh, what is this?" And then he's like, "Oh, I'm from Ireland. Like, we don't do that there." And I'm like, "Oh,
it's great
should have
because
warned me."
before he blows, you pull back the skin. He's like, "How about a pint of Guinness?" And it just pops out. You know what I'm saying?
No, it's more like a fucking 16 ounces of yogurt, but like you know, it's
Okay.
just like
It's the real Bailey's Irish cream, huh? Yeah.
Still not
My
hungry.
mouth just watered.
I was once with a girl. She had never seen a cut one. She saw it and she asked me. She said, "Oh, are you Jewish?" And I was like, "No, why?" And she said,
Whoa, whoa.
"Oh,
What's with the?
I don't know." And she was American. Yeah, she's from. She's a local girl. Yeah.
A local girl.
A local girl, and I don't think she'd ever been with a guy who was circumcised. Yeah,
He could pass for a member of the tribe, though, Gina. He's got curly
Yeah,
hair.
yeah.
You know,
Well,
so-
I always think
you
you'd
know,
be uncircumcised.
the Mediterranean area.
You
You know,
give me
yeah.
like an uncircumcised vibe.
Jews and Italians like interchange
It's
all
like
the
you're like-
time.
you would take everything off and be like, "Oh, he's all natural everywhere."
no, I had nothing to do with
Surprise,
it.
you just never know. You know.
Now I have a question. Like, if you guys had children, would you circumcise your children?
Yes.
Or would you? You would.
I'd do it myself if I had
You know, it's one of those things. I'll cross that bridge when I get there. But I definitely don't think, or if I would, I don't know that it would be done in. Like, there would be a hospital involved, a
An
legitimate
STD test.
topical anesthetics. But
What I would do,
I'm just trying to fill my fridge right now. Talking
know.
about
I don't know if
circumcision.
I would kind of do it, and what I do, I have them circumcised, and then I would have, just to piss everybody off, I would have foreskin tattooed on his penis. You know, after that, so
Oh man.
it's like I don't know, is he? Is
I
he?
don't know. I feel like maybe they come out like that for a reason, and your dick is more sensitive. You lose like certain nerve endings and stuff.
I don't know. My
That
dick's still
happen.
pretty sensitive.
He's
I don't know.
traumatized and sensitive as fuck.
The
I'm
more
still
nerve
sensitive.
endings we lose, the better, though. You know, maybe that's like longer longevity.
It does give you
can-
longer
They
stamina.
should just cut the head right off.
I can wear certain fabrics and my dick is awake. Hey, how you doing? You know, I lost
So I
it.
don't-
Is jeans one of them? Because
I don't know.
Yeah, you know, it depends.
Denim.
If I'm free balling, absolutely. Which, by the way, I love doing in the summertime.
I regret not
I
doing that
am
today. Actually,
obsessed with the summertime because like so many guys are free balling. It's so nice.
It's liberating. It really
yeah,
is.
I was staring at this guy's dickhead today on the train. It was just.
Wait, you're what to his dick?
I was just staring. Like,
Oh,
he had on
alright.
some basketball shorts, and he literally, I could see his whole
I
dickhead.
thought you were partaking in the.
Nope,
dick.
I was
That's-
just looking. I was looking and enjoying.
Rodney, are
but-
you free balling right now? It's summertime.
Yeah.
Sort of. You are really?
It's not.
With
I got
shorts
no
on?
drawers I got shorts on, but like, look.
I just looked under the table to see Rodney's shorts, and they're tight. They're tight
I
shorts.
got tight shorts on,
Tight.
so like you know.
So you're free balling,
Wait,
but you're
do you
constricted.
have like extra? Oh no, this is like a part of your short.
Yeah, no, I just got a little
To
right.
make it look like it's pegged, but it's all
No,
fucking
because I
designed
thought
that
you
way.
had bike shorts under your denim shorts.
No, no,
I'm
you look
not
like bike
grabbing
shorts, but
his
no,
balls. I'm just like snapping his
no,
shorts.
My dick's just all it's red.
He touches my boobs enough that I'm okay. So I had a question.
We love questions.
Ask it.
We do love questions.
You guys have a magic 8-ball in here?
Lee Paul,
Yes.
what's going on with Nick DiPaolo?
I can't believe finally this is like the big this is the hot topic this week, you know, especially we're all comics and the outrage, you know. I know I saw you posted something on Facebook. I know I saw about
Yeah,
it.
like no one
Yeah.
picked it up at all. I don't think
Right.
anyone understood what I was talking about.
Right, and so for those of you who don't know, who are not comedians or fans of comedy, Nick DiPaolo released a free YouTube special, and the cover art of the YouTube special is basically him flipping off a bunch of Black Lives Matter activists, and one of those Black Lives Matters activists was murdered. Yeah, you know, so
By the police.
By the police, And so it's him basically flipping the bird
To a dead man.
to a dead man, but not just him, as other people in there too. It's like the Me Too movement. It's like basically him saying fuck to the PC. His whole thing is like fuck the whole PC establishment. You know, they say that we should be able to say what we want to say, and so obviously a lot of people were in uproar, were crucifying about this. I mean, listen, I think there's many ways to get your point across. I think, to be honest with you, and listen, the guy, as time has moved on, I don't know if he's always been like that or he's gotten more to the right, as far as politics go. Now, I used to love Tough Crowd Colin Quinn. It was a great show. If you're a comic, it was a great show for comedians. It was a panel show. Jim Norton would be on there. Nick DiPaolo was a regular. Greg Giraldo, who's no longer around. Patrice O'Neill,
Who's also no
longer around. And I mean, I think we can agree as comics, this was a great show. I enjoyed it. I don't know if you guys have ever seen it. It hasn't aired in many years, but so Nick DiPaolo is a staple on there. And as time goes on, you see people's sensibilities. I'm a firm believer this. As we get older, whatever personality traits we have become more accentuated. We become caricatures really of ourselves that were maybe minimized in youth, but they become more accentuated with age. And I think that's what's happened with Nick DiPaolo. And I honestly think, listen, to basically flipping the bird to somebody who was murdered, is obviously in poor taste. I think, to be honest with you,
he was killed by the police.
He was killed by the police. I think what he tried to do, he tried to make a statement, and a free speech statement, and he just, as we live in such a polarized society, he totally polarized the shit out of that. Like you said, he just went. And I also think though too. Listen, we live in the age that bad, good, ugly doesn't matter. Publicity is publicity. He knew he was going to get a lot of coverage doing this. He knew that people were going to be all over it. People who not necessarily would have paid attention to the release of his special.
I don't even think he knew that person had died.
No, of course he didn't. Of course, I don't think.
I don't think he knew that. I think that he thought that like, I'm a Trump guy. I'm going to say fuck you to the left. I'm going to say fuck you to Black Lives Matter. I'm just going to be like, something like, isn't it so funny that the Mexicans haven't been killed yet? And everybody's going to laugh at it. I think that is like, he is like so off center, and he's so like, I feel like his comedy is like probably like 1982.
Yeah.
Damn.
That like, I think he thought that all of this was going to be fine. And I don't even think that he thought about possible publicity that would have come with it. And then all of a sudden people are just like, oh, so like we knew you were racist, but like you're just using dead black people on the cover of your album. And then he's like, I'll try to change that. Like, I don't think he's actually going to change anything. I really don't.
Do you think he wasn't astute to the fact that the person that he was on there was actually deceased and how they had been murdered? Do you think he didn't know?
I think if it's not like Frank Sinatra or not Trump, I don't think
he was out of touch. Like research, there was
Right.
no awareness. So, all right.
Yeah, and I'm not saying that's right. I'm not saying that's right.
And if
at
some
all.
could say, could display a further level of ignorance,
Right.
saying the man that he's just not aware, astute to the fact that. I don't think it's 82 because he was like that kind of brand of human in the early 2000s. I think what's happened in the past 15 years as a society, we've changed so much in a very short period of time. I think we can all agree on what is, acceptable to stay and what is not. And that is,
I haven't listened to it, but from what
Right.
I heard, like his whole album is like 2 Ks away from a Klan rally.
right.
Like
Damn.
that is like everyone is just like, oh, this is like the most racist shit, and I don't think that he thinks that it's racist.
Exactly.
I think he just thinks that like, oh, I'm a breath of fresh air. I'm not.
You don't think he's being ironical though with the title of "The Breath of Fresh Air"? By saying that, or
I don't think he knows what irony is.
right.
Like, I really don't.
You know what I think? I think it's a classic of what you said, the unawareness, and it has to do with he's got to be at this point pushing 60. Nick DiPaolo, right? He's got to be
Beyond.
at least he's older than that. He's got to be
Yeah.
he's got to be in his 60s. Okay, I
yeah,
don't know.
at
So
least.
he's somebody that socially his period,
You have to
he grew
take
up as
that into
awareness.
consideration.
He's not, he's not astute to like the times of today and what's going on struggle wise today. Like years ago, I used to work in a restaurant, and this was even in the early 2000s, and there was an old white guy. And he was sitting at a table. He came in, and I was like, he was flat. I said, "Do you need something, sir? Can I help you?" It wasn't my table, and he said, "Oh, I'm looking. My waiters. I asked him for it." And I said, "Who's your waiter?" And he said, "The colored fella." Now he didn't think anything was wrong
Exactly.
saying that because from where he grew up, that is in his lexicon as okay. You know what I mean?
Can I throw something at
Sure.
you for that?
Right.
So, like, I was talking to my therapist, and I was telling my therapist that, like, I had run into one of my ex-boyfriends at a mall, and that his new girlfriend looked very similar to me. She was, like, around my height, had very similar hair, and was the same complexion. And my therapist, and I mean, I am paying this person. I have insurance paying this person. I'm paying this person a copay. And my therapist was like, "Oh, were they colored also?" And,
They don't know any better.
and I'm like, well, and I didn't know how to take it. It's like, here's a person that I'm like trusting with like my darkest thoughts, my innermost secrets, all of my insecurities. I am literally unloading a lifetime of trauma on this person because I trust them because they're a medical professional.
Right.
And they're like, "Oh, so are they colored also?" And I was just like, well,
How old was your therapist? Just curious.
like in their 70s.
There
There
you
you
go.
go. That's
Proof,
it.
The proof is in the pudding.
They don't
you know?
understand.
And
They don't
and
get
I
it.
was just like, yes, but we don't like to be called colored.
Yeah. Like you felt it was a teachable moment, basically. It had become as a
And,
result
and,
of
and
their.
at that, it's just like, shit, I should get my copay back.
Yeah, what
'cause,
the fuck
like,
am I
Yeah.
paying you for?
yeah.
Yeah, but you know what's interesting with words and how they can skew one way or the other. And the other thing now, the whole PC thing is POC, people of color, and that's acceptable, to be used. But yet, if you just go to colored, that's a dated term.
It is.
Right.
A dated term from Jim Crow times.
But like,
It's
like
divisive.
colored
It's divisive.
people is like specifically for black
For black people,
Yeah.
right?
and then people of color runs the gamut
Right.
of like Asian through.
It's
black,
inclusive,
like,
right.
Yeah,
It's inclusive.
it is
Instead of saying
more
minorities, it's just saying you're saying people of color.
Yeah.
But,
But it's still the other. There's that
yeah.
weird. Yeah.
Well, I always say like people of non-color for the others. But I feel like a lot of people aren't picking that up yet. But they
do like
will. They will because like I don't know. I feel uncomfortable saying like white people or the whites.
the whites.
The whites.
The whites.
The whites.
You know what the whites are doing?
Lynching. But like I feel uncomfortable saying like and I shouldn't because like there's a lot of people of non-color that are saying the blacks, the Hispanics, the Asians, but like I do feel uncomfortable saying the whites, but I also feel like, well, I need a category and a phraseology, so I just kind of just say people of non-color, which I feel like is non-offensive in an offensive way.
People of non-color, and then there's the Jews.
For the record, I'm olive. So, just putting that out there.
And I don't like to be lumped.
Is that a color?
I don't like to be.
Is that a non-color?
Even though by racial definition, I would be considered Caucasian, but being Jewish, I don't like being lumped in really to any category specifically. But I don't even want to like.
Well, that's 'cause you're Jewish
I don't
and
want to be considered
Italian.
Yeah, exactly. But that's why even in my act, that's why I don't use my last name. I use my first and middle name, Lee Paul, because I don't want to have. I don't want it to be about this, that, or the other. If I want to talk about something on stage that involves my religious background, my ethnicity, my cultural background, it's my choice to do that, and I'll volunteer. I don't want to be defined, by this, that, or the other. But I also don't feel
But
like
you also have the option not to be.
right.
See,
I have the
right,
option.
that's
I have the
exactly
option
how
not to be
it's- right.
And I
It's
get.
like now, like I feel like as far as
Do you
like,
think biracial people have that option in the 21st century at all?
It depends.
I feel like what can they pass for?
Right. Like,
Depending
like-
upon right.
depending
It-
upon like what they look like and what they're mixed with, like that's a whole different.
Like I feel like
Thing.
if they can pass for a person of non-color, then they have an option, and if they cannot pass for a person of non-color, then they don't have an option.
Well, what
Right.
about President Obama? I mean, he's half black, right? But how does
Yeah,
he
but
identify?
he's always
He's always
a black
identified as a
man.
black man.
Exactly.
Right.
So how do you? It's like how do you
But
choose?
there are people like Mariah Carey
who can
who
pass.
can pass for like if you you
Yeah.
have to kind of squint and know that she's
Yeah.
she could say she was a white woman if she wanted to. That's like
Yeah.
the passing thing.
And let's not forget about Eminem.
What about Eminem?
About hit.
He's a person of non-color.
No, is he?
I mean, his soul is of color, but his roots are of non-color.
Was Moses black?
Are his roots blonde, or he dyes them?
No, his roots are brown.
Okay,
roots
that's
are
what I
brown.
figured. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's talked about dying it.
Was Moses of color? I mean, I guess that depends on what your belief of history is.
right. Yeah, because
I mean, people from the Fertile Crescent, from that region, and people, it's funny because when you say anti-Semite, people say, "Oh, that's people who don't like Jews, who hate Jews." Semitic refers to the actual region. It's not specifically just Jews. So somebody who is, somebody who's like where modern day Sumeria or Babylonia would be considered a Semite.
right.
Right.
So, but we always we just say Jews because it's just easier. But I think if you look at historically back in, if you look at if you look at a lot of the countries in the Middle East, there's a lot of dark skinned people.
Right. I was
But
going to say that.
but then you go to certain countries like Syria and they look very white. Like you can
Yeah,
see people who they don't look like, but like Iranians, Persians, will be very dark, can be very dark skins, and it has to do with also the tribes because you have to look at it just like in the United States and in South America, North America, you had Incans, you had Mayans, you had Aztecs, you had all these different Indian tribes, and in the Middle East as well, you have the Bedouins. You have like tribes that have been around for like. Thousands upon thousands of years and have a very specific look,
Right.
that is not the same. So I feel like somewhere along the line, whatever that Western European or that white, real Caucasian look somehow ended up settling in some of these areas in the Middle East where you got this bloodline of people who look very Caucasian
Right.
in places that are not.
But I
historically
also
very Caucasian.
I've never understood the whole idea that like the Nazis' ideal was of these like Caucasians that were kind of Asian. Like it just never. It's something that will never make sense.
What do
to
you mean? What do you mean that when you say kind of Asian?
Well, like the Caucasians are from like the Caucasus region, right? And so like the Nazis are very like pro-European,
Very
which is
Aryan. You know,
It-
they want Aryan blood.
But like
That's what they
Aryans
wanted.
were really like East Asian, because the true Aryan people
Right.
are Indian, and I mean, for like of the Indian like
That's why the swastika was actually like a Hindu, a Buddhist symbol.
Yeah.
right,
Yeah, historically,
So-
right.
So like it just never made any sense
Right.
to me that the ideal Nazi is actually someone that's Indian, like and of I guess of today's terms, we would call them like of Southeast Asian descent.
Right. Right. I think that it was a lot of philosophical, theological hypocrisy with him, because he had his whole idea of what an ideal German society was, and being I think there was a total
And that society was actually people of color.
exactly that's the thing. I think it was just a total xenophobia of all people, anybody who wasn't a German, who was an immigrant, and Jews being the number one offenders, over there, was deemed as a threat to German society, German economy, German culture. He wanted the blonde hair, blue eyes, and to me, that's like almost very like Eastern European or Nordic,
Right,
looking.
more Nordic,
More Nordic
than
looking,
anything, which was also not German. Jonathan,
Yeah.
is there a difference between stereotyping and typecasting?
Yeah, I think about that a lot. Stereotyping is considered bad, right? But in the acting world, typecasting is kind of like stereotyping. And maybe you've seen this, Judah, but when we're on certain websites and we get roles that come into our emails in the form of breakdowns.
Right.
And they ask for certain types. And when you read them, I mean, they're really, like, when you read them, it's almost like racist stereotyping.
Yeah.
If you were to say that in everyday life, like, okay, I'm looking for a Chinese woman who's like elderly, missing some teeth. She looks like she'd be pushing a cart on Canal Street. You'd be like, whoa, that's a little like
That's
kind of
racist
it's kind of
as fuck,
racist. That's
yeah.
racist. I have literally seen that in a breakdown where people are asking for that,
Right.
and it's almost like, well, it's racist and it's stereotyping, but if it's for show business, it's okay. So it's stereotyping runs rampant in the acting and show business world, but it's somehow it seems to be okay because you're getting a job out of it, and they're looking for certain types.
Like, so, like, I have a commercial manager, and like he tries to send me out on a lot of shit that is like for a plus size model, and nothing sets my hair on fire more than if I'm reading a breakdown and it's for like a plus size. Like, granted, I understand I'm not a 0, I'm not 24, but I am a size 4. Like, how am I getting cast for plus size? And it's just literally because
Because you're not a bulimic model.
I'm under 5'5". Like, if I was 5'7", I'd be like a normal person. But because I'm under 5'5" and I'm like 5'3.5", now I'm plus size because I'm a 4, and like it
and because you have
literally-
boobs.
Yeah.
and that's my mama's fault. Like, really, but like, it's just. It sets me on, like, every time, and I'm like, fuck this. And then, like, every time he does send me on something, and, like, I've literally never gotten anything that he sent me on. It's like, oh, yeah, like, why did you audition for this, like, HIV medication? And I'm just like, I'm not married. I don't want this gig. Even if I got this gig, I would not want to be on buses saying, like, hey, I'm fun and free with HIV. Like, you know,
Yeah.
it's just like,
I've submitted for more HIV positive medication advertisements than I can even count.
Really?
If I'm getting a paycheck, I'm on it. Yeah.
But you're married.
Doesn't matter. I
Like-
don't have HIV either, but yo, if I'm getting a paycheck,
Yeah, but like I'm single, so like I'm gonna have
Right,
to
it
be on a
affects her
date
directly.
with somebody
Right.
one day,
Looking
and we're
like
gonna
you
be.
Buzz passes
Looking
by.
like-
I don't
Yeah,
think
exactly.
anyone's gonna. I don't think anyone's gonna be like, "Oh, hey, are you
If
the
you're-
HIV girl?"
If
They're not
you're
gonna say it to
outside of
you.
the industry, you don't understand that
Right.
this is all acting. Like,
That's
but
true.
like if you're in the industry, you're just like, oh yeah, like what were your royalties? But you're outside of the industry, it's just be like, oh, so
Listen,
like you're
looking like you
positive,
have-
so am I.
Looking like you have AIDS can be lucrative. It's a form of typecasting too.
Totally.
I mean, look.
It
I mean,
is.
obviously,
That
you know,
means healthy
these
and
character
vibrant.
actors. I mean, look at what in Dallas Buyers Club what Matthew McConaughey did. I mean, now that's the physicality of an actor. Like, he dropped all that weight. You know, him and Jared Leto. I mean, that was like, wow.
Yeah, it's
you know,
insane. Yeah.
You know, to do that, and that's why that was like so impactful. Have you guys all seen that movie?
Yeah.
Dallas
Yeah, I
Buyers
have.
Club? Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know, and it's like there's some people out there who just don't have to do that. They just naturally look like they have AIDS. You know what I
Right.
mean? They got the AIDS look.
yeah.
you know?
Because they're doing heroin.
And how do we?
Right, but not even the ads you were talking about. They want you to look healthy and vibrant. It's like not even like that. It's just
Yep.
the
Yeah.
fact that this
But-
beautiful
It's like
face
AIDS doesn't keep me
is-
down.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, that's a
It's
new
like-
thing. Now you can't tell if somebody's got AIDS anymore
Right.
because of all the medication advancements in medical. But the original stereotype of what it was to have AIDS. Now, I'm not saying in the commercial. I'm saying like
Right.
in a movie.
yeah.
And they want to show somebody, like, let's say during the struggle when AIDS was an epidemic and, you know, people were dying left and right and it was, you know, there was a lot of casualties, you know, involved, you know.
But you know, and now she's gonna look like fucking Diana Ross on the side of the bus, like.
But if you
weaved out,
were
gorgeous.
getting work as a plus size model, would you have a problem with that if you were getting work for it?
I won't even audition for it.
You wouldn't.
No.
Because of the label.
Yeah, because like I feel like it's total bullshit, and I feel like if I want to see the change in the world, I need to be the change in the world. So it's just like if my manager tries to send me out on some shit that's like plus size, and I'm like, you know something, I am legit a 4 right now, like. And I'm not even saying that I think that there's any shame in being plus size because, like, in the largest part of my life, I was a size 17. So, like, I have lived a plus size life and I've lived a less than plus size life. But, like, do you know how much cake I've not been eating to be a 4? Fuck you, you think I'm plus size. Like, I'm not doing that shit. Like, fuck you.
And he starts stressing, I'll show you plus size, motherfucker.
Exact. Plus the residual effect of like if you are on that billboard being the plus size woman, how does the actual person that is plus size feel, or the person that's like not plus size that thinks that they are in their head?
What about this?
They
Like,
look at you.
This 16-year-old girl that is like literally like a size 9 that would drink water for like 7 days and be like a fucking 5. Like she's like about to kill herself because she thinks she's plus size. Like no, fuck
But she's
you.
gonna look at you
Like,
and think like, oh, that's plus size.
Yeah, but
like you
aren't-
know something, like this is where I kind of feel like is the balance between like real life and creative life. It's just like I have an actual job that like pays for my bills and I can tell you to go fuck yourself when I want to. Like
Aren't they
Yeah.
changing the parameters especially in the modeling industry over the past few years, like Victoria's Secret, a lot of these on what they don't want models now to be
Lee,
underweight, aren't they?
I'm still considered plus size.
Wow. Okay.
Like
I hear you.
I'm great. I 100% understand that I drink too much beer. I eat too much carbs. I understand that I am not the poster child of fucking.
You're not heroin.
I don't
chic.
like plus size. Let's just
I'm
say
not
you're,
heroin chic.
you're beer size.
However, like I am also not like fucking like fat. Like I can see my feet. Like
Yeah.
yeah, like no one's gonna be like, oh, well, like, you know, so I'm like, she was kind of cute, but she's a little bit boned. Like, you know, it's just kind of like, yeah, like I might be curvy. I will admit to being curvy, but I'm also not gonna, like, I have worked my ass off over the last however many decades to not be overweight.
Right. I can relate.
And I'm also gonna say, like, you know, I'm also not super skinny, and I'm fine because I've been there. I've been a 00 in my life, and
Damn.
I'm a 4 right now, and I'm not gonna be ashamed of being a 4.
And cheers to you for not playing the game. You know, just, you know,
Yeah.
not because it's finding the line where you don't take that type of behavior so personally, and you have compassion, yet you still know, like, you know, I don't need to. I am beautiful, and just because I'm not 6 feet tall or whatever it is that defines plus size, I don't. You know, I'm not a model. I don't. You know, I don't know that, but I do understand that it's. You know.
It's like fucking bullshit. It's just like, because like the first time that I was modeling, I was like quote unquote plus size, and I was in high school, and I was 14. It was like some sort of like junior prom kind of thing that they were doing, and I was just like, I was like 4'10", and I was like 130 pounds, and you know something. Yeah, I was plus size, and I was wearing palazzo pants, but I still got like some sort of action from like being that size, and like now I'm just like, oh yeah, like I literally only eat rice like once a month, and you're still giving me shit. Go fuck yourself.
Yes.
Rodney, if you got a job if someone offered you a job as a plus-sized HIV positive model, would you take it? Plus-size
Yeah.
HIV.
That's a very, very specific
It's
niche
super
right there.
specific.
Wow.
for
Love how you drove
$2,000
in
for
HIV real quick.
$2,000, would
Yeah,
you do it?
we're looking for somebody who looks really healthy.
Right.
Like they have a great appetite. That all the HIV medication is working so well that they enjoy cake on a regular basis, and they look
So
like it.
we actually, I'm
I would
sorry
do
guys,
it.
Rodney, I'm gonna give you 2 seconds to give your answer, but after that we have to wrap this up because Matt is giving me the get the fuck out face.
Yes. Yes, I would absolutely do it for the culture, just because I am gay. So, like, I feel like being the face of, HIV, like a healthy face for HIV, there's nothing wrong with that.
Forget the HIV. What if it was just for the plus size? Would you do it?
Yeah, because I feel like plus size is not that bad right now. Like that's
And
I'm if this is what plus size is, I'm fucking hot. Goddamn
That's
it.
what I'm saying. Exactly.
Yeah, Jonathan all in the wife beater and clavicles. Okay,
Right.
so
hot in
Judah,
here.
please tell everyone where can they follow you. What projects are you working on?
Oh, actually, Jonathan and I are hopefully in an upcoming production, which, to go back, is a karmic miracle of the circumstances of how it came about, of a Shakespeare show called Love's Labour's Lost.
Oh, I love that one. Yeah.
Beautiful.
yeah.
So that
Yeah.
will hopefully be at the Gene Franco Theater this coming fall.
That's right.
That could be on Facebook, Judah Barak Tobias. My Instagram's the same. Yeah. I mean, not that that's where I am, you know. You could probably see me in Bushwick wearing dirty pants biking around somewhere. That's a little unfortunate, but the truth. Yeah. That's where I am. That's the next upcoming gig that I know for sure we have. So that's beautiful, and it's a paying gig, which is great. That's we both study with Thomas G. Waits. It's an
Okay.
acting studio that's at the Producers Club. He teaches out of there. That's another unfortunate place. But Tom is a beautiful actor, and he actually practices what he preaches. I've studied with many wonderful people, but few of them are still working and in the trenches with us. So for any actors out there that are really looking for a really truthful experience from a man who literally knows Shakespeare by heart.
The Tom Waits Shakespeare plum.
Oh, yeah, man.
Thomas G. Waits, not to be confused with
I-
Tom
I know.
Waits.
That's, I was
Yeah.
going to actually.
I was
mention,
confused
that's
with
the
that at
G.
first.
You have to put the G
Gotta
in
put
there.
the G in, or
All
it's
right,
totally different
Jonathan.
animal. Yeah, you can find me on Instagram is the best place to find me. Mastro Dolly, MASTRO DALI. And yeah, that's where I'll just post some quirky shit, and or just look me up on Facebook, but I'm not on there much. Master Dali on Instagram, and like Judah said, yeah, and stand up around. I advertise on Instagram, so that's where I'm at.
Lee Paul.
Yeah. And I feel like with your voice too, it sounds like you could be doing like Kevin Spacey voiceover work. You have like this Kevin Spacey voice, not anything else, just the voice. That's it.
Just the voice.
Just the
You're
voice.
not,
Just
you're
the
not
voice.
trying to tickle the young
That's
balls.
it.
Me
That's
too.
it. Yeah.
All right, Lee, we got to
all right.
wrap this shit up.
All right. I'll be at the Red Room in East 4th Street in the East Village on Wednesday doing one-up storytelling. It's a monthly storytelling show. I'll also be at O'Keefe's in Brooklyn next Sunday on May 20th, I think, at the Punching Bag Comedy Show. And you can find me on on Instagram at LeePaul_comic_rockstar.
Ronnie Daniels.
You can always find me here at Big Talking Brewskis every Friday night with Marissa Smith, doing our thing, interviewing comedians. All my shows coming up for June. Everything's on Rodney Daniels, Instagram, Facebook, Rodney Daniels, and Marissa Smith.
You can find me on Facebook at Marissa Smith. You can find me on Twitter also at Marissa Smith. Check out this podcast on Twitter at Big Talkin' Brew. Check out my other podcast, Blamestorming at the Blamestorm. I am going to be in Queens. I believe it's called the Espresso Bar. On May the 20th. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. And remember, you guys, a Republican just totally called in Don Jr. to subpoena. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.